Welcome everybody to our latest session of Scarlet Citadel. This is session 3, if I remember correctly. So group is currently back in Red Tower, the town, but we will, as usual, do a quick recap of what we got up to last week, and then we will jump into our session. So the group started off last week having already ventured to the Scarlet Citadel. They had already taken down this large furry creature with an eagle's beak and encountered a flying woman-like creature that sung a song that Grask identified as being a harpy. The group had looked around the upper floor of the Scarlet Citadel and located a passage potentially of where they would go down. So when we actually picked up last week, that's where we started. The group kind of did a little bit of scan around the outskirts of the Scarlet Citadel, looking through some of the outbuildings, climbing the stairs to the second level, noticing that many of the upper levels of the Scarlet Citadel were actually so destroyed through time and age that only like some rafter beams still existed of the upper floors. The rest of the floorboards, anything along those lines, were just missing. The group discover a couple of different entrances into the Scarlet Citadel proper. The first is when they climbed the stairs and went to the sort of keep area. There was presumably there was a trapdoor on the ground that had long since faded away in time, fallen through, rusted, mildewed wood, that type of thing, and instead there was just a hole where that trapdoor used to be. Looking down below, the group was able to see a lot of collection of bones and residue and other parts of animals and potentially even some humanoids, and realized that this was some type of an animal den. The group also discovered another entrance that was back over in the northwest corner of the Scarlet Citadel Foundation, where there was a lot of rubble collected, and it was currently covering what was apparently another trapdoor. So the group first went down that first area and discovered that it was a small room, and there was a set of stairs that led further down, and there was also another door that sort of led off to the west. Wasn't clear where that led to. As the group tried to open it, it was stuck, and the group was unable to go through it. So they did examine the stairs down, and the stairs down is where I showed the group the entrance image. So I'll pop that up on screen real quick again, just so everybody can remember what that was and looked like. So this was the sort of main entrance, I suppose you could say, to what the group discovered into the Scarlet Citadel, noticing that very fine artwork all around the entrance there, and noticing that sort of dim light down below and a little bit of perhaps mist or dust that was coming up from that location. So when the group saw that, ventured down a little bit, noticed very large piles of bones. This gave the group a lot of concern, as they said, mainly Grask pointing out that, hey, whatever can kill all these things could just as easily kill us. So why would we plow through all of these bones? There was a pretty, I don't say heated, but pretty enthusiastic discussion about which way to go. Should the group plow through those bones, or should they look for another way into the Citadel? They had previously found this other trapdoor covered by rubble, so eventually the votes won out to go back to that other trapdoor that was covered by rubble and take a look at that. So the group left, climbed up, made their way back out to the courtyard, and then went over to this area that was covered by all this rubble, and spent a significant amount of time actually unburying this, moving the rubble. I think it was Elliot that stayed on watch, so he didn't actually assist, but the rest of the team spent time moving chunks of rock off, and this was measured, I want to say altogether this took the group about 3 hours just to clear enough of rubble away from here that the group could open the trapdoor and wiggle through on their bellies to get through the trapdoor itself. So obviously not the most easy way to get inside, but it was absent all of these bones on the ground that the group saw on the other location. So with this in mind, the group descended and found that the set of stairs went down a decent distance, kept descending until they found themselves in what they assumed to be the first lower level of the Scarlet Citadel. Noticed that there was a little bit of either blood or dust trail sort of all around here, and probably the first thing they spotted right off the bat is they noticed a man, or at least his lower part of his body, his feet, like a skirt or a robe perhaps. Couldn't even really make out shoes. Decided to get a little bit closer. As they did that, moving to the south, There was another hallway that branched off here, and they could see, again, some type of a form up to their west, but they couldn't tell what exactly it was. Realizing that they were kind of in the thick of things, they tried to be careful as they moved around, continue moving to the south, and were able to actually get fairly close to this older man and notice that he was holding onto a torch and examining this statue of some type very closely and curiously. And they decided, I think again it was Elliot, if I remember correctly, decided to step out with the intention of confronting this man and trying to get some answers out of him perhaps. So as that occurred and Elliot made his presence known by being, kind of loud cough type thing, or hey, what's going on, just really get this guy's attention, this is when we jumped into sort of initiative order to track some things and make sure everything was done according to our rules here. So with that, from the east, through this cracked crevice in the wall, emerged this fearsome-looking humanoid creature, I'm going to say. This looks almost like a human, perhaps, but wearing this very strange-looking armor and bearing many scars and seared flesh from brands, and just looking like somebody that's been through a whole lot and has a very fearsome countenance. As he passed through the doorway here, or not even doorway, again, this breakage in the wall, as he passed through, he engaged the group pretty quickly in combat, while this old man seemingly was just observing, you might say, as he stepped down so he could get a look at how many people were in the hallway behind Elliot. But other than that, just was amusing himself, perhaps, as he watched the group and kind of just observed. So this other individual, this fearsome opponent, kept battling the group. He seemed to have some type of fear effect that the group was able to tell, as he was inspiring fear, or causing fear, might be a better way of putting it, in the player characters. As he kept pushing them back, the group decided to slowly kind of back up and make their way to a more advantageous location that they could continue fighting this battle. As they continued backing up, they turned that corner rather than trying to go all the way back upstairs, knowing that that trapdoor, again, only barely opened and they'd have to wiggle through. It certainly wouldn't be something they'd be able to do quickly. So they decided to basically walk into parts unknown, hoping that they could find a more secure location to fight this guy. As they started getting closer into that hallway, the group could hear the sound of snoring, loud snoring coming from some type of creature. The group continued pushing further to the north, where they found a door and a room full of what looks to be cells. This opponent kept following them, trying to tee off on them little bits at a time as they got farther and further away, and this opponent got next to where the snoring individual was. This opponent seemed to bang his maul against the prison cell bars here and tell this other figure to wake up, and intruders were here, and he called this individual Scar. The group then continued backing up, realizing that the first opponent, the fearsome guy, was no longer following the group. He seemingly had fallen back. The group pushed through the doorway then and found themselves sort of in an antechamber. So there was 3 different ways to go here. The door they had just come through, a door that headed to the south, and then a flight of stairs that seemingly headed up, and a collection of skulls and bone pile there. It didn't take too long before Corin was able to tell, Corin controlled by the DM at the time because Corin's player wasn't here last week, but able to tell that the bones here were likely the same bones that the group had seen on the other location. So this seemed to match with the location that the group had originally seen and decided not to ascend. So with the group now backed up into this room, they opened the other door into parts unknown to try to see what was there and make sure there was nothing immediately dangerous. The group noticed that there was several bodies hung on these hooks, like essentially like meat hooks around this area. And I showed another image to the group then. I'll go ahead and share that again real quick so everybody can see. And yes, a very fearsome or very terrifying, perhaps, or gruesome scene laid before the group here, as all these bodies, some in partial states of decay, some in just partial states of completeness, hanging from these meat hooks. And eventually, not sure exactly how or why, but after this door got closed and then eventually got opened again, it seemed as though these bodies had come to life or animated by some force and were coming after the group. During this same time, this opponent Scar, who had been named as such, turned out to be some type of large red ogre. The group would probably be at least somewhat familiar with ogres, as they're not too uncommon here in Cerealia. So this large red ogre, as he came through the other door that the group had originally come through, and took the fight to the group, fighting against our player characters here. The group was able to injure him, hitting him a few times, and once he was wounded and seemed to have these bleeding wounds on his muscles and on his chest, he actually moved into a location where he was close to the full group and seemed to flex out his muscles, and this caused those wounds that the party had dealt to him to suddenly burst with blood, which coated the entire group around him, and that blood seemed to burn the group like acid. And in addition, for some of our player characters struck by that acid, it absolutely enraged them, causing them to go into fits of rage and strike those nearest by them without being able to tell between friend and foe. So as all of this was going on, the group tried to slowly come to the realization that this was not going to work out so well and tried to beat a hasty retreat. Turned out that those stairs heading back up were actually trapped, and as Elliot started making his way through there, some darts were flung from both sides of the hallway. Luckily, he managed to evade all of those, being at least quick enough on his feet to not get struck by those. The group that survived plowed through the bones, getting further back up. During this time, Grask was attempting to hold off, I suppose, this Scar opponent and give the group time to retreat and make their way to safety. Unfortunately, Grask did get hit pretty hard, dropped to the ground, and eventually this Scar grabbed onto Grask and started pulling him backwards. And after Scar was wounded quite bad and mentioned something along the lines of, "You can deal with the dead men now," as he took the body of Grask away. We also had Armony fell at one point in time here, and I believe it was Hugo that went up, managed to throw her over his shoulder and get her out of there. So our group was pretty battered and beaten by the time they made their way out of Scarlet Citadel. Once they did, they realized that the opponents inside did not seem to give them chase outside of the Scarlet Citadel, and they were able to get a bit of breathing room as they pushed away back into the plains and forested area outside of the Scarlet Citadel. During this time, they just popped into the woods a bit, I guess we could say, to get a short rest there, to give time for Harmony to recover and just sort of get themselves back on their feet before they decided to make their way back to the village of Red Tower to recuperate, thinking that they would be doing no good to Grask to try to rescue him in their current state. During this time, Hugo did manage to spot the return of that harpy creature, as Grask had called it, as it seemed to descend and land somewhere right back in the courtyard of the Scarlet Citadel. With this knowledge, the group returned to Red Tower, managed to find accommodations, and slept overnight. Luckily, our group did manage to level up to 2, so all players have leveled their sheets up to 2. Obviously, if there's any questions about the level ups, let me know. But yeah, guys, that's our recap. Is there anything I missed that anybody would like to add? All right, hearing nothing, the appropriate take a sip of coffee break time right there. We will go ahead and jump into our session proper, guys. So I will bring us over to the Village of Red Tower map. And we can see that we left our group actually, we left our group outside of it. Oh, there we are. Right, so after the group had come back and spent a little bit of time here in town recovering, I don't think you guys actually made your way. Did you guys make your way back to Matilda? I'm trying to remember now. Does anybody recall?
We went to a temple. Is that at this point?
Yeah, we went to the temple, I forget the god's name, but to get a healing kit.
Yes, true. Yep. So Halen is the deity here in Red Tower. So correct, you guys made your way to the Temple of Halen to secure a healer's kit. You did manage to get that, though I believe the group was attempting to persuade the priestess here to give a better deal, and as none of the party members were worshippers of Halen, and some are worshippers of other deities, or worshippers of no deity, she did not seem to look too favorably upon the group, so aka no one did too good on their persuasion checks here. But yeah, so we will pick up with the group to try to fast forward time a little bit after the group has acquired that healing kit and then did accommodations in the inn. We will assume it is early morning as the group has just exited the inn, having purchased meals and drink and that sort of thing, and essentially is ready to go for the day. So group, you are all currently level 2. You're as refreshed as you can be with your 4-man party at the moment. What would you like to do?
Look around at everybody. Well, That was a rough one. I hope Grask is hanging in there.
I need another case of crossbow bolts.
Yeah, I lost my sword in there. And, I know we get a discount and all, but I still don't think I quite have enough coin for a replacement. So, I'm just gonna be shooting a crossbow and stabbing with a dagger for a little bit.
Well, let's at least go over there and check it out to see what the prices are.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a butcher in town or a meat shop as well.
You hungry?
Sure, something like that's here.
I was thinking, I saw that bird creature return, and maybe there's a way for us to draw it out so that we can fight it farther away from those tunnels. If it's attracted to meat or flesh, we could put some in the woods a little bit away, wait around, and maybe trick it.
Well, I don't think we need to lure it away or anything. I mean, we fought a bear and that harpy last time just right above, and they still didn't seem to notice us down below. I don't think it's too much of a worry.
Maybe. It's just now it returned to that Adam. When I saw it return, it flew back to that area that had like the trapdoor that was broken off, right? With the hole.
Exactly. Yep. It seemed to land right in there. Yes.
So before we were farther outside, I'm just worried if we fight it in there, then we're real close and they might be able to hear us.
Good point, man.
At the very least, we should figure out a way to close our ears.
I was thinking about that. Maybe some cotton from one of the tailors in town might suffice.
Yeah, or wax or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy to go to the weapon shop and see what kind of deals we might get. I just think we should hurry as much as we can for grass' sake.
Well, that I agree on, but if all you can afford is to shoot that crossbow, we probably want to make sure you got enough bolts to do so.
Very true.
Depending on what the cost of the sword is, we probably can pool a little bit of money together. Why don't we go and see?
My
All right.
5 silver pieces are all yours, man.
I have a little stashed away.
All right, so I guess we'll head to the market.
Yeah, so having been in Red Tower for a little bit of time so far, I would say you guys might have a rough idea where some things are. So when I heard weapons, crossbow bolts, for example, you will know that there is a smithy outside of town. So down over here is the smithy, and then just next door to it is the lumber mill. So perhaps in speaking around to some folks in Red Tower here, you would know that the smithy owner does occasionally get some bits of wood from the lumber mill in order to make arrows, that kind of thing. It's not the smithy is not particularly known for making tons of weapons, as you know, until adventurers arrive here looking to head to Scarlet Citadel. It's mostly just your common horseshoes and metal that is needed for homes or tools, crowbars, that kind of thing. There's not a ton of ask for weapons, but you assume if there is anywhere in town or the village to get some kind of weaponry, that's probably your best bet. As far as wax or cotton or anything along those lines, there is a location in town that is a furrier and tanner, so they process hides of animals and so forth. They might have some of those kinds of things, perhaps cloth or a bit of material, something along those lines that you could use for that purpose. And that location, I'm just reading my map here for the exact keyed location. So let's see. That one is not marked on the map. Interesting. Okay. So unfortunately, that one is not marked on the map, so we're going to make it up. We're going to say that one is right here. So this is the furrier and tanner, and as I said, they process animal hides, that kind of thing, and they might be somebody that would have that store might have that kind of stuff that you're looking for some type of a cloth that you might be able to use to block the sound of your ears.
Let's go.
Yeah, cool. Seems like they're both sort of in the same direction anyway, so that's nice. We'll try to hit them both up.
Okay, my bad. I just found it, and this is why this is so confusing. There's two different locations, one called inside town, one called outside town. Somehow this is considered inside town, but this here is the furrier and tanner.
Oh. Well.
There's not any shops in town or anything like that, Adam?
No, not that might have something along those lines. There's really not even what you would consider to be a general store. The tavern might have a few odds and ends that you could purchase for from the innkeeper, for example. Other than that, most of the produce or the goods that are produced here in town, they're really more of just a general commoner type usage. There's not really a whole lot set up here for adventuring types.
There's a hole in the market, guys. This is the new adventure. We just set up a trading post.
I have a question. Would you permit me to use my wood staff, which is a focus of mine, as a quarterstaff?
A focus, I imagine, being more like a small handheld thing versus like an actual bashing type quarterstaff. So if you choose to use your focus as a damaging implement, I would say it's probably just going to be like 1 damage plus your strength mod.
Oh, so wood staff doesn't mean something the size of a quarterstaff?
If it's a focus, generally not. Usually focuses are fairly small.
Okay. Maybe do some reading. All right, where are we going first, guys?
Well, we might as well hit the smithy, considering it's closer, and make our way down to the tanner.
I took it upon myself to label all of these locations, so hope that doesn't bother anyone.
Not me. No, I might even make him a little bit bigger for older of us that can't see so well.
Yeah, feel free.
So all of us.
Yeah, everyone here.
I don't know how old Noah and Libby are, but I don't know how old Volt is either. But I feel like Matt's an old man. I feel like Matt is probably I'd say 65.
Damn.
He's like,
damn, son.
I would not have gone that far.
He knows Gygax personally. You know what I mean? That's how
40, not 60. Oh my god.
I'm just messing. Only kidding.
Noah and I played with somebody that played with Gygax, which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, because
He
we're right by Lake Geneva. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is cool.
You're right next to the motherland.
I'm gonna sprinkle some Lake Geneva water on my computer and start rolling better.
That might be a
Well,
bad idea.
all dice are supposed to be blessed in the waters of Lake Geneva.
No, we just
But-
need to be a person.
I mean, I don't think we need anything at the lumber mill. I mean, unless the smithy needs us to bring him wood. But maybe we should just go talk to the smithy first, yeah?
Sounds good to me.
Let's go.
All right, so you guys make your way outside of town, passing by the Red Tower and hanging close to the wooden palisade there. As you make your way over to the smithy, you notice out front here, there's your sort of typical forge. There's a lot of implements that you would associate with blacksmithing, tools, leather aprons, that sort of thing. You notice a fairly stocky woman who looks like maybe she's in her 50s or so. standing outside here wearing one of these aprons, fairly large looking arms, and she currently has a hammer in her hand, but she's sitting on a little stool. Looks like perhaps she's taking a bit of a break from work.
Hi, excuse me.
You see she raises her head. You can notice her face is pretty filled of these sort of marks of age, being aged, as well as stress. It just looks like she's perhaps did not have the greatest night's sleep in several days, likely. She raises her eyes as she looks towards you, Elliot, and says, yes.
My friends and I, we recently went over to the Citadel there and lost a couple of weapons and fired a couple of crossbow bolts, and we were hoping to replenish our stash. You sell short swords or rapiers or long swords or anything like that?
Have few weapons for times when people need them, but mostly not too much.
Well, we're in one of those situations where we're probably going to need it. What do you got for sale?
Have crossbow bolt or can make if need. Short sword, let's see, let me check. You notice she kind of steps back into her little area here slowly as she's like belaboring her leg. Gets a little bit closer, moves some stuffs around inside, and eventually comes back out. Yes, can sell crossbow bolts, some case. How many case?
How much is a case?
Case crossbow bolt, gold piece for case, plus bolt.
I don't need a case. Do you need a case?
Just be known, we have been sent by Wizlaw himself.
As you say that, you notice she kind of raises an eyebrow here, and I would like all of you to go ahead and give me a blind check here, please. Okay, so Elliot and Hugo, the two of you, almost right away, as you say this, you see she raises her eye, and you get this sort of feeling of disdain, perhaps, from this reaction, and you notice that she gives like kind of a snort. You feel like there's probably some history here behind this relationship or this naming of the mayor himself, but she quickly just kind of begins speaking after this little, sort of snip, as you may locate this look on her face. As this occurs, you see she looks and says, yes, very nice and all, but still, 1 gold piece for 20 crossbow bolt.
Yeah, that ain't no problem. We ain't ever even met the mayor. He just said that, I think it was the tax man, Norman, or whatever his name was, Vernon. He said something about a discount if we mention his name, but look, it's really no pressure. We need it to save our life. So here's a gold piece. And how much for that short sword?
Yes, short sword can sell, let's see, check price from last time sell short sword. Don't sell too many of these as say, so just a moment. You see she starts kind of looking through a little scrap piece of parchment that she's got here. Can sell 10 gold piece.
Well,
is that what you use, Hugo? Short swords?
Usually it's a rapier, but a short sword is better than what I got right now, so...
Figure a rapier would probably be more expensive, it's all fancy and thin, and the metal's all fancy and bends all like that, but short sword, pretty basic, stab, swing, slash, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
rapier for pick teeth, short sword for hurt person. You buy short sword.
Well, I surely will if I could count on a few coins from my friends here. Sorry to say.
Corin, before he even started saying that, Corin was already kind of pulling out his pouch and was counting 10 gold coins out and puts them on the counter. And then he also puts another 2 for he'll say, "These are for crossbow bolts."
Yes,
All
okay.
right.
I take money. You have bolt and short sword.
2 sets of bolts.
She will set a total of 40 crossbow bolts there for you.
Yeah, he'll just kind of partition those off to Hugo, and he'll look at Elliot. You need more bolts. It's probably better to not run out while we're down there.
I got about 35. I should be okay. Elliot, if Hugo's got about 50, 60, we should be fine between the two of us.
Good.
Yeah. This is very generous. I appreciate it a lot, Corin. I didn't need all 10. Just 4 would have done, but thank you.
It's all right, Hugo. Point of fact, I had a dream about you last night, so I figured this might help. And I'll roll my Fate of Dreams thing here, because...
Oh, you did you? And Hugo's eyes arch.
Where's my macro? It's been like, a week off, and I don't know how any of this shit works anymore. Here we go.
I think that's
There.
the same one you rolled last time, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Maybe just make sure. Okay, it does actually do different.
That's questioning the DM's macro building capabilities. Oh, that's negative inspiration right there.
Oops. My bad. I know, I just clicked that on accident.
Good save.
Yeah. Corin will nod and he'll say, I just remember something about you getting hit but seeming to take the hit well. That was also...
Oh, God. I get hit? Oh, no.
Well, you got hit, but you really didn't even seem to notice it. And the same for you, Elliot. So we'll just hope that carries through today. You both get that.
Oh, okay.
Well, my thank yous.
Every time he says that, I dreamed of you. It kind of catches me off guard at first.
Real man.
It catches me off guard, too.
Yeah, it's usually horrible stuff happening to people, too. Gotta watch out.
Dreams are usually about some conflict, which I think makes sense right now.
Well, let's go get that wax or that cotton or whatever, and we should probably make our way back. I mean, I don't know how long Grask has.
Yeah, let's do it.
Before we leave, Harmony will ask the woman if she has any quarterstaffs or clubs.
You see she raises an eyebrow at you and says, is this Smithy? Let's see, I might have unmanufactured piece wood cans for quarterstaff one. And you see she kind of starts looking around, pushing around, picks out this length of wood and says, yes, this do?
Does it do?
It kind of looks like a quarterstaff.
I pull out my mace because, I can't use shillelagh on my metal mace, right?
Correct. Shillelagh will not work on a mace, yes.
And I assume that the mace is more valuable than the quarterstaff.
Indeed,
presumably.
yes.
So I say, how much would you give me for this mace?
Yes, well, as said, not too many people come look for mace here. Trade, I give you gold piece on staff for mace.
Sounds like a deal.
She hands you over this rough length of wood and takes the mace from you and hands over 1 gold piece from her apron.
Thanks, man. Pleasure doing business. We can go, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Well, hang on. I'm sorry. I don't want to delve into your personal business or anything, but earlier when my friend mentioned Mayor Wislaw, I could kind of see in your face that there was a bit of disdain. I just, for our own safety here living in town, is there anything we should know? I mean, is he an untrustworthy fellow?
Give me a blind persuasion check, Elliot. No worries. He's simple. Mayor is asshole.
Oh, well, I can get that. Well, I appreciate the heads up, all right? And good luck to you.
Yes. All right, so it sounds like you guys want to then take your party out to the furrier/tanner in hopes of finding some cloth or wax there.
Yeah.
All right, you guys move east outside of the wooden palisade here of Red Tower. Make your way through these sort of small farmlands where you can see crops are scattered about. As you pass down that road, you can see this series of buildings here, 3 separate buildings, sort of set right against the wood line. And as you approach, it looks as though the area is quiet, though you can see there is a front door and there's a bell that seems to be within hand's reach of the door.
I'll ring it.
All right, so you guys make your way up to that door proper and head up and just kind of give that bell a little ring. You hear from the other side, "Just a moment! I'm coming! Just a moment!" And within maybe 30 seconds or so, you notice the door opens and you see that there is a man standing here, real thin with this really thin black mustache as well. He has this kind of like patchy black hair and a crooked nose and these deep brown eyes. And you see he sort of looks towards you and raises an eyebrow. Yes, customers?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. We're looking for something to plug our ears. We came across a creature that would sing you into a trance. We were wondering if you had anything for that, like maybe some wax or cotton.
Earmuffs.
I've got something even better. Come in, come in.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and step in.
All right, you see he makes his way back by the counter. I will assume everybody follows in. If you're staying outside, feel free to just type in chat, staying outside. As he heads back behind the counter, you see he's like moves some things around. This shop has got these different like animal skins and things hanging off of the wall. Again, you see a lot of tools of the trade, perhaps some knives, some thread, some different chemical bottles or containers of different kinds. And there is kind of a strong chemical odor that seems to just hang around this location. You see he looks around and you can hear him saying, "Where is it? Where is it?" under his breath. And eventually he opens this little thing and pulls out what looks to be a rabbit's paw or rabbit's foot. And he sets it on the counter and he says, yeah, there it is. This here is a good luck charm. And if you ever hear this strange music you're talking about, if you're holding on to this, well, it'll help. It's got to give you good luck.
Well, it sounds quite reasonable, but there are 4 of us. We would need something for all of us.
Oh, I've got more of these. Let me see if I can find... And you see he starts shuffling underneath the counter.
They weren't very lucky for the rabbit.
Good one, good one. Yeah, that's true, but they'll be lucky for you. Yes, yeah, here they are. I've got, let's see, and you see he starts counting out, and he puts 3 more on the counter for a total of 4 rabbit's feet.
Do these look actually magical, or are they just rabbit's feet?
What are you using to try to determine that?
Well, I have a little bit of Arcana.
So essentially just relying on your own knowledge to see if anything jumps out at you as being particularly of magic nature?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah. Go ahead and throw me a blind Arcana check. Nothing of them looks to be obviously magical. You know that there is this sort of rumor or superstition, myth, however you like to look at it, that a rabbit's foot is supposed to be good luck for those that hold on to it or wear it on a necklace. But no, you don't see anything that you would automatically say, oh, well, clearly that's magical.
Wish there was some way we could, like, test these out to make sure that it will work.
Well, I mean, like, luck is a fickle thing, you know? Sometimes Sarah's watching you, sometimes she's not. It's not like a guarantee, but hey, every little bit helps, right?
Yes, and for that reason, do you also have cloth or wax or anything we could plug our ears with physically in addition to their foot?
Well, yeah, of course, if you want to go the practical way, I suppose. Let's see, I've got some different cloth, but I don't know if wax would be good in your ears. How would you get that out?
I think cloth would be just fine. You know, we're not too well off in terms of funds, so being able to afford, 4 rabbit's paws doesn't really sound up our alley, but 4 strips of cloth, we could definitely afford that.
That's true, yeah, because good luck is kind of costly, so I guess that makes sense. Okay, and you see he just kind of like slides these 4 rabbits' feet right back into this box and slides them under the counter. Little slips
How
of
much
cloth.
were you charging for those, just to be specific?
You see he kind of looks at you with a little winking smile on his face, and Libby, go ahead and roll 2d4 plus 2, please.
Public or...
You can roll that
Right.
publicly, yep.
$2d4?
Yep, 2d4 plus 2. All right, you see he looks at you, Armony, and with a smile and wink, he says, for you, dear, 7 gold pieces.
Too rich for my blood, but good to know in case it's ever needed.
Yeah, if you ever need good luck, just come on back. But strips of cloth. Okay, let me think. Let's see. And you see again starts just kind of scouring under this counter area and pulls out what looks to be kind of like some spare bits of linen. And you see he kind of looks down, looks up at you guys, says, I suppose if you cut these all fine little bits and you could wad them up and just, I think that'll work. None of you have those like big, huge ears. No, I think you'll be fine.
How much you want for the cloth there?
Let's see, 4 sets of cloth. How about silver piece?
Sure. Yeah. I got a gold. You got change?
Oh yeah, sure. Yes, I could do that. If you hand him this gold piece, you'll see he, like, in his apron, he will start moving around his hand, and you see he kind of, like, puts his tongue, like, up into the roof of his mouth and looks up into the sky as though he's, like, counting physically as he's, counting mentally as he's physically touching the coins in the pouch of the apron, and he eventually counts out 9 silver pieces and slides them over to you.
All right. Cool. And I'll take the cloth and I'll hand a piece to each person.
Thanks,
We-
man.
We appreciate you, sir.
Oh, no problem.
Before we go, we're going up to the Scarlet Citadel, and you live here. You've traded here, so I'm sure you've hunted in the surrounding woods. Is there anything we should know about the Citadel specifically? Anything you've heard?
About the Citadel?
Yeah, you ever been up that far?
I typically don't go too far. Elliot, you can go ahead and roll a d20 publicly. Let's see. Things about the Scarlet Citadel. Well, like I say, nothing specific about the Scarlet Citadel. There's, of course, some dangers around here I could tell you about.
Yeah, sure. We could use the practice. I mean, and definitely want to make sure we don't get caught by surprise. What do you know about?
Roll me another d20, Elliot. Well, you see, there is this strange phenomena that occurs that some of the locals have been taken to call them the wild mists. You see, it's these areas of the forest, and like this light mist seems to just come, but it doesn't come from anywhere. It's just like it's there suddenly. It's really strange, right? It doesn't seem natural. No one knows exactly what those things are, but, well, it's they say that if you happen to be one of those, and he wiggles his fingers here as he says this, magic folks, that sometimes weird things can happen.
Is that the woods up there to the north of the city? I'm sorry, west of the city?
Well, unfortunately, it's hard to pin down because it seems to happen all around here.
Is there any, like, lightning storms or anything accompanying it, or just mist out of nowhere?
Mist out of nowhere. It's the darndest thing. You'll just be like, I'm going to go check for mushrooms in the forest. And you'll be like, hey, everything looks fine. And it's nice, sunshiny day. And then suddenly, mists. Where do they come from? Who knows?
Well, that is interesting. You know, maybe if we get to the bottom of it, I'll come back and I'll let you know.
Oh, I would like to know. But yeah, you have to get good proof because everybody says they know these things. And then, well, you never know.
Yeah, well, that's true, you know. That's people for you, you know. But
All
hey,
right.
look, it was a pleasure meeting you. And if we need something again, we'll come back. And I assume you sell, like, leathers and...
Yes, I can refit any armors if you need, new straps, or if your blades need better handles on the grips. Yeah, I can do lots of things.
All right. Well, oh, and look, if we bring back any fresh kills, could you tan them for us?
Oh, yes, of course.
Look, see, I like this guy. All right, well, look, it was nice meeting you. We'll be on our way.
Best of luck in that Scarlet Citadel. Hope everything goes okay for you.
We'll be back soon with a half eagle, half bear. Don't worry.
Wow. Oh, yeah, it's Hubert, we're going to have some work in a little bit.
All right, so I suppose we'll exit at that point, and I'll look over, as we're walking out, I'll look over at Corin and say, you ever heard anything about that? Wild mist appearing out of nowhere? Having magical effects of any kind?
Have I, Adam?
No. I mean, unless you spent any significant time or you'd hear it from the villagers, I'd say this is a fairly local phenomenon.
Corin shrugs. It's a new one on me. I'm not sure anything about that.
Brask and I traveled pretty far and never came across something like that.
Well, I'd sure like to see it one day. But it looks like we've got everything we need. Are we ready to make our way back up there to the Citadel?
I think so. Let's go.
All
Let's
right.
get him.
I'm going to use teleportation circle at him.
Right. All right. So you guys make your way out of the village of Red Tower. We can fast travel this a bit, as you guys know the way. It's only a short few miles from Red Tower over to the Scarlet Citadel. So yes, you make your way there pretty easily.
Along the way in the forest, I'd like to look for mistletoe and shamrock, things like that.
Oh, okay. Give me a, I suppose, nature check, blind check, and we'll see if you're able to locate anything like that. You certainly can find what you, I will say you find a shamrock, so that's not too difficult to find in this area. So you're kind of looking through different, patches of growth and looking at these different clovers and things, and you find a shamrock, and you're able to take that. You do not find any mistletoe, however.
Okay, I added to my herbalism kit.
All right, good deal. All right, as you guys make your way up to the Scarlet Citadel, you can see the rotting body of this creature. It's not too bad of state, as it's only been a little over a day since it's been killed, but there's certainly an off odor in the air. Somewhat perhaps surprisingly, is you don't see any obvious signs of predation on the corpse or scavenging.
I say we spread out a little bit, and I've got this horn here that we would use back in Proudglaive to signal each other if something were to happen. I think if we spread out, maybe I could use the horn to call it out, and then we can get the jump on it. I'm gonna go ahead and put my cloth in my ears. So we'll use hand signals to communicate.
All right, so for reference, as you take these little wads of cloth and plug them into your ears, it certainly does not block out all sound. Think of it as being muffled. So if you're very close to somebody, within say 5 feet or so, you can still easily hear one another, but the further away you get, the more quickly that becomes harder and harder. So think of this as muffled hearing as opposed to deafness.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna at least muff my ears up a little bit. And I'll wait until everybody else does and kind of give
Do
the
the same.
spread out signal.
All right.
All right, so since it sounds like the group as a whole is doing this, is there anybody that's not plugging their ears? Okay, perfect. I will assume everybody's ears have been appropriately dampered.
We gotta try to sneak up on it.
I think I'm gonna call it out to us. See if that'll work. Maybe we should try to sneak up on it. Don't want to attract something else.
I'm down for either way, honestly. But you know, obviously, sneaking will be closer in to the tunnels.
If I use the horn, though, it may draw more than what we're wanting to come out. Let's try to sneak first.
Nothing chased us out before.
I look at that owlbear corpse. It chased us.
Yeah, and this place is constantly changing itself as well, so there could be new critters around.
Good point. I'd like to quietly look at the corpse and try to determine anything about why it's not being scavenged.
Give me a blind insight check here, Armony. So you look at the body itself and obviously can tell that it hasn't been scavenged, and you sort of put two and two together and presume that with that harpy nearby, perhaps anything that would try to get too close, maybe the harpy is acting as sort of a deterrent from wolves or anything else that might get too close.
Whoa. This is being used as bait.
Well, let's be quiet and move forward. I'm gonna put my finger up and then put my little cloth in my ears and start moving quietly.
All right, you hug the Scarlet Citadel here, Elliot, as you're making your way closer into the center of that courtyard area.
Alright, once I get to the end here, Adam, I'm going to try to grab the end of the wall there and slowly peer around to see if I can see anything.
Okay, yeah, feel free to move yourself into a position where you can see.
Alright. I'm going to wait for everybody to keep following.
There is this strange sound effect as the little bit of light breeze here seems to turn and twist through the courtyard walls of the Scarlet Citadel here. It gives kind of a little bit of an eerie feel to it.
I'm going to hold up here until everybody catches up. I'm gonna whisper to Hugo. I'm gonna say, "Hey, you should go listen by that trap door. See if we can hear anything."
What'd you say? I can't hear anything with these cloth things in my ears. It's hard.
I'm gonna kind of shake my head and just, never mind. And I'm gonna make my way up the stairs quietly.
As he
Yeah.
passed by me, could I cast guidance on Elliot?
You can, but as a reminder, if a spell has a verbal component, that means you do have to speak magic words at a normal sounding volume.
I always forget that. Thank you for the reminder. Never mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Do I see any signs of like nesting or roosting in this area? I remember that it flew up and over. If I look up, do I see like a hole or anything in the ceiling?
You do not. So the upper levels of the Scarlet Citadel are here, and you can remember that the floors are all missing. So occasionally you'll see a rafter or a beam of wood that's broken in chunks. There's seemingly nothing above that would give you any indication of like a hole or a den or anything like that.
And I can't see. Can I see straight up into the sky above me?
You can, yes.
So I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna try to sneak my way down this little cut here. I'm gonna wait for everybody to follow.
Yep. I'll follow stealthily.
I assume you'll have me make a check if it's needed, Adam.
Yep, you declared you're moving quietly, so if I need a check from you, I would certainly declare that.
Coming around the corner, do I see anything?
No, it looks to be much like you left it.
I'm gonna wait for everybody to come in. I'm gonna put my hands up like, I don't know. And then I'm gonna point down to the hole like we should go down.
Orange shrugs and nods.
Harmony gives a thumbs up.
Alright, I'm gonna light a torch at him and then I'm gonna put my scimitar away and then light a torch and then make my way down the ladder to the darkness below.
All right, hold up on moving your tokens for a moment. I'll scoot you guys all over and move you to the other location. Alrighty, you guys start descending. Elliot first, the rest of you, I imagine, coming shortly thereafter, and find yourself in the same location you saw before. Again, nothing immediately looks out of the ordinary or different than what you saw the first time.
When we get down here, I think Goran's going to take his ear coverings out.
Okay.
Hugo's keeping his in for now.
Forever, so he doesn't have to listen to us.
Yeah, this is me now.
Just keep saying, what? What? Question for the guy who wasn't here last week. Were the weapons in the image here there also, or were they?
They're mostly decorative. I believe it was indicated that there was like an axe on the ground here, and it looked fairly rusted. I don't think anybody took it, so that would still be here. But the rest of it, you can assume to be just visual depiction of odds and ends strewn about.
Got it.
And that door that was like jammed shut, it's still shut, I'm assuming.
It is still closed, yes.
So I'm gonna turn around and look at everybody and say, well, don't look like the harpy was anywhere around that courtyard or nothing.
You may have been having a meal somewhere else.
Could have been hunting, yeah, sure.
Let's not forget to cover our ears again when we leave.
Uh, With that being said, through these doors and down them stairs is that bone pit or whatever you want to call it. And we didn't cross through it last time, but when we were coming back, there was a trap that triggered when I hit a little crosswise. So as we're moving, y'all just watch your feet.
Yeah.
Now,
Watch for traps.
secondly, what's the plan? Are we solely going in to see if we can grab grass and get back out? Is that the name of this plan here?
I think that's the start, and then maybe when we find him, we see how we all collectively look. He may be injured or in dire straits.
All right, and let's be clear on a condition to run. What would that condition be? If somebody feels overwhelmed, or is there like a secret code word, like asparagus or something that we should use?
I mean, we could just yell run.
We did that last time, and only half of us ran, and then half of us stayed to fight, and then we ran, and then we stayed to fight, and then we ran.
I think as long as the two big boys aren't together, as long as we don't have like a bunch of bad guys coming from all different directions on us, we should be okay. But if that other thing happens, then we run.
I suppose that's true, Hugo. Yeah, yeah. So let's go in, and if I remember the layout correctly, we should see a room with two doors, the door to the left-hand side and the door straight ahead of us. Now that door straight ahead of us, that should take us to where them prison cells are. The door to the left, that's where we saw them hanging corpses. And then they came to attack us.
And
Would it make
last we
sense?
saw them.
Go ahead, you go.
Oh, sorry. I said last we saw them, they were wandering around all willy nilly, so they might still be doing that. Who knows?
No, Harmony, I know you said you follow a god. Do you have anything for undead that you could use if we needed it?
Or undead?
Yeah, my brother, he worked directly with one of the commanders in Proudglaive, and there was a cleric that they went to, and she had the ability to turn away undead. It was only for like low level stuff, but I mean, uh, I suppose it could help if you had something similar.
I could, when I get up in the morning, spend some time preparing something like that, but unfortunately I haven't today. I'll have to
No,
look.
if that's the case, then we need you to stay up. You're the only one that can get anyone else up. So I vote you let us do the striking, and you
I
hit them
like
from
to
afar.
hang out in the back, for sure.
Yeah, that
I'm,
sounds good.
I'm not real sturdy.
Corn, last I remember, you do pretty well from a distance too, yeah?
Yeah, that would probably be best for me. I do have a minor enchantment that I can put on someone that would help with the undead protection from them.
All right, well, that may be useful. And then Hugo and I, we both can kind of switch between afar and up close. But I vote we try to take things out before they get too close to us.
Agreed.
Avoid a hit if we don't need to take it. If we're looking for grass, then we need to move quickly and quietly, check on him, see if he's alive even. And if he's not alive, what's the plan then? Are we leaving? Are we trying to sneak past?
Maybe we'll find some other stranded survivor in here. Corn doesn't say that. He says, I think it's all going to depend on Graska's condition when we find him. If he's unable to continue or has perished, we may need to reevaluate what we want to do.
Alrighty.
As far as I'm concerned, 4 or 5, the mission is the same, and it's to explore this place. I hope we do find Grask, but I'm going to continue exploring this place.
I know I need to find my brother as well, and not to mention all of our pockets are nigh empty, so we need to find some coinage. Well, something we can sell for it at least.
For sure.
I think as long as we're not on death's door, we 4 can handle most of the things here by themselves, at least.
You know, I'm willing to be in the front and to try to keep them at bay, at least for a little bit.
We can switch between that, Hugo, you and I, but if that's the case, then I need an extra hand to shoot this crossbow. Corn, you think you could hold the torch for us? I know you don't need it, but Hugo and I can't see.
Harmony puts out her hand and a flame appears in her hand.
Does this happen to be the produce flame spell?
It does happen to be that.
And does that have a verbal component?
I think so. Let me check. Yep. I suppose I say by Father Eric, ignite, and the flame appears.
Roll a D100 here publicly, Harmony.
It was weird. Sorry.
You can throw that too.
You can, yes, yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to click it, sorry.
Okay, yeah, and the flame produces in your hand as you're holding on to it, and it does indeed give a little bit of light here. Nothing that's too visible in the sunlight that is sort of cascading down through that open hole above you, but you know, obviously going down below into the darkness, it probably would be helpful.
Adam, quick question. If I have a torch in my hand also, and then my spell focus in my other, does that mess with my semantic components?
If you know, so as long as this is really complicated in a really weird like corner case of the rules, but if the spell has a material component, then you can use the same hand for the material component as you do for the somatic component. But if it has somatic only and no material, then you would not have a free hand to use the somatic gestures.
Like, I had to think about that for a minute.
So basically, if it's S and M, you're good. If it's only S, then you're going to have to drop something.
That's so goofy. Okay,
agree.
well, anyway, Corn will look at Harmony and say, you can do that. I'll have a torch as backup if you need to use all of your hands.
I'll hand you the torch I have lit, and then I'm gonna put my shield onto my back, Adam, and I'll draw my crossbow, and then I'll load it.
All right. Have you guys finished preparations for what you'd like to do before descending?
Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Hold up moving tokens. I'm going to group you guys all together and take you over. All right, you guys begin descending, and as you take that distance down, you notice that it turns. you once again see that large collection of bones piled up here at the bottom. What is your plan? Are you guys going to push through the bones?
Is there an alternate route, Adam, or is the only way to the other side through the bones?
There's no alternate easy route. You could try to, for example, step back and then jump past them, but you'd be jumping down to descending stairs. So obviously a little bit of risk there. If you could get creative and have some way of avoiding the bones, maybe. But as far as visual, think of it as like 15 feet of bones filling a 10-foot hallway.
We should definitely investigate them to make sure there's no trap.
Yeah, I agree. Didn't we come through here on our way out?
You did.
Is there a pathway that we took, or a certain route we took through the bones in that case?
In your haste, I would say you guys just pushed through as best you could. As you look at it now, it doesn't look like there's any obvious paths. You assume like if you step through, you probably knocked some, but then they filled up from the other areas. So yeah, hard to say.
Do I remember if it made a lot of noise as we cut through it?
It certainly made noise, yes.
And then you said it's a 15 feet of bones in a 10-foot room. So is it possible for us to even kind of jump and make it to the other side?
I mean, it's possible. If you go a running jump and you're strong enough to jump that far, you might be able to get past them.
You the Wilhelm scream.
I don't think Elliot would be able to make that jump, but perhaps we just cautiously and carefully move through.
Yep, so basic rule here is you can make a long jump to cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump. So 16 feet, 16 strength would get you clear of it pretty easily. If you had, say, a 14 strength, you might be able to get to right of the edge of the bones without passing by. But anything less than a 14, it's not looking good to be able to jump past. All right.
So through the bones.
All right, so safe to assume you guys are going to push these bones and do the best you can not to make too much noise, but realizing that that's almost impossible.
Yeah, I'll go first, Adam, and I'll crouch down and I'll try my best to feel if I can feel any tripwires, because that's what got me on the other side last time. So I would just want to be on the lookout for any tripwires.
Sure. All right, so you start passing through these bones with the rest of the team behind you. Yes, as you're stepping through them, you can hear the clatter of bone and things cascading down below. Some of the bones just kind of move side to side, but occasionally as you're rustling, one will kind of get triggered and kind of fall further down, hit the stairs, and you can hear it kind of clatter that echoes out throughout this area.
Oh, piece of cake.
Rask is right there. He's in the white. Oh. Oh.
I think we're still trying to move quietly.
Okay, I will assume all of you are trying to move quietly at this point.
And can I peer around this corner and see if the door is closed?
As you peer around the corner, the door is closed.
Looks like they closed it back up.
Hugo, I would say you probably noticed this, even if you as the player didn't notice it. There seems to be this streak of blood that is being dragged from that door to the south to the door to the west.
Okay. Can I look around to see if my rapier is here? I think this is the room where I dropped it.
I believe it was through the doorway to the west, but on a quick glance around here, you don't see your rapier.
Okay. And I point at the blood smear to everyone.
And doing a quick check, Hugo, you still have your earmuffs on, but nobody else does.
Right.
What?
Yep.
Yep, my earmuffs are out. Can I touch the blood, Adam? Does it seem fresh?
Reasonably fresh, and I'm just noticing here, Elliot, that we still have you with a torch on, so I'm going to just go ahead and remove that to make sure the light's accurate.
Did I put a torch on myself for the flame that I'm holding in my hand?
Torch on yourself. What do you mean by that exactly, Harmony?
Like, should I be... I mean, like, for roll 20 purposes, should I be giving off light since I'm holding produce flame?
You are indeed, yes. So right now I've got you set up with 10 bright and 10 dim, so those around you can see to that distance.
And then Corin has
Corin
the torch,
has-
right?
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
So, Corin, you're holding on to a regular torch.
Correct.
All right, let me just make sure that is turned on. Okay, everything should be accurate.
And just one more time, Adam. You said the blood was moving from this way to this way?
That's what it appears, yes.
Okay.
Alright. So Hugo will go up to the door, and is there a keyhole or anything to peer through? If not, he'll just going to listen up to it with his clogged up ears.
Sure, go ahead and throw me a blind perception check as you attempt to listen to anything on the other side. You hear nothing. It seems quiet.
He points at his ears, and then he points at the door, and he's like, "Someone else do this." All right, and he just pulls his cloth out of his ears.
Okay.
And then, is this the kind of door you can sort of halfway open out?
You could crack the door if you wished.
Okay, so that's what I would like to do, and try to peer into the next room.
We'll call that your crack. So you open the door just slightly and try to see what you can see.
All right, I can't really see anything else, so I'm gonna go through. All right,
As well. Let's go.
I open the door fully, and I go through.
All right, you open the door, and before you, you can see this blood seems to continue.
Does it look like human blood? Or lizard man blood, I should say?
I'm not
Is
sure
it
how
blood?
you would tell that.
Is it cold-blooded?
By now it is, sure. Hugo, as you step up to here, and remind me, what are you using for light, Hugo?
I'm just relying on my friends.
All right, so with the flickering torchlight from behind you, you notice the heaped over body of Grask in the cell to your south.
He's here. He's here. Does it look as though it has a lock on it?
There is a lock built into the metal itself, not like a padlock, but just think of it as like a square lock built right into the cage.
I got a crowbar. Here, take my crowbar. Forgot to buy that damn lock-picking kit.
Hugo will pull out his lockpicking kit.
Okay.
And he will.
Hugo.
I'll check it for traps first, but.
Yes, thank you. Make sure there's no
Okay.
bells or nothing.
Give me a blind check as you search this area and investigate for any type of traps. There does not seem to be any traps on the cage.
Okay, so I'll take out thieves' tools and try to pick the lock.
All right, and is this just a straight skill check for you, or do you have expertise or anything special for this?
No expertise, just proficiency. So.
All right, go ahead and throw me another blind check, and I will assume you would like to use dexterity for this.
Yes.
All right, good deal. So yeah, go ahead and throw a blind check, and I will take your dexterity roll and add proficiency to it. This lock seems to, though, while it, looking at it, it does not seem to be of anything of high caliber. You don't get the impression that this is going to be too difficult to break or to unlock, but unfortunately, you're unable to do so. As you try to get your lockpicks in here, try to find where it is exactly you need to turn to unclasp this or unlock it, it just won't seem to come free.
Hugo starts sweating and is visibly embarrassed. Is just like, I swear this doesn't happen to me. I'm pretty good at this stuff, but I can't get this one.
Looks pretty rusty. It's okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's rusty.
And you break it physically?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, here. And I'll take the...
Hang on.
All right.
If we do that, everyone's gonna come.
That's true.
Harmony gets up close to the bars and goes, Grask, Grask.
You see Grask's eyes open wide. What are you doing here?
He's alive.
Alright. Well, if that's the case, if he's alive, then let's make some noise and let's bring some pain.
Rask, we're here to rescue you, but you gotta let us know what's going on here. Who are these people? Where are they? Are there more of them?
It's only been a day. I don't know that much.
Well, alright, smartass. Can you walk?
I should be able to walk. And he'll stand up, stumble a bit as he gets up, and walk over to the door. Can you get that open?
I don't know. We have a crowbar. You're the strongest one. You think you got enough strength, you can pop it from your side.
Some rescue this is.
Hey, we're here, ain't we?
The lock is very rusty, Grask.
I haven't slept in 2 days. I'm exhausted. But I'll give it a shot.
It's alright. It's alright. I'm not that strong, Hugo. Not trying to call you out, but you don't look too strong either.
You'd be surprised. I'm wiry.
Alright, well here, take it. I'm gonna cover you.
So, Elliot, you're handing a crowbar over to Hugo, and Hugo, you're handing it to Grask, or you're trying to open it? What's going on exactly?
I guess I'm gonna use it since Grask is exhausted from getting
Beat up, tortured.
So yeah, Hugo will take the crowbar and he'll try to sort of wedge it in and as quietly as he can pry the door open, the bars.
All right, go ahead and throw me a Blind athletics check, I guess, on this one, since you won't know what it takes to open it. All right, so you're using the crowbar here, and you kind of put it in between both sides, and you start placing some pressure on it. And you can see, again, it's not of the highest quality, so it does kind of start to bend a little bit. You can feel like you could put more pressure into it, but you're nearly confident that if you do, it's going to break the metal and be fairly loud. Would you like to continue doing so?
I'm gonna shake my head at him. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Shake your head or nod.
nodding yes.
All right, seeing that, yeah, I'll continue to break it open.
All right, with a loud, resounding sound, yes, the metal is indeed broken out of this area, but this sound seems to echo in the area. And pretty quickly, to your west group, you hear a little voice that says, "No, no, don't make noise. They come and take us all."
Who are you?
Ikban.
We should get him out of here too.
Okay. Hugo, where are them tools? I'm gonna grab the thieves' tools off of Hugo's belt or something while he's still trying to pry that metal.
Yeah, he lets you take them.
All right, as you guys are making these preparations, I'm going to go ahead and lock the tokens.
I wish lockpicking was like that, Matt. God.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I just want to clarify, does Grask look like he's in bad shape, aside from exhaustion?
I would say yes, but I'll let him describe how bad of shape he thinks he looks.
Yeah, Grask hasn't really. He doesn't look like he's rested at all.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we are now in initiative order. This doesn't necessarily mean that there is an imminent combat, but it means that timing is now important, so I'm tracking the time. So I'm going to unlock the tokens now, and we will go in order here. So Hugo, what would you like to do?
Wait, Adam, do I need to re-roll my initiative?
You do, yes. Thank you for that reminder. Go ahead and click your token, re-roll that, and we will resort the initiative order. All right, good deal.
Don't bother with Ickbon. He's been bleeding out.
Yeah, we followed his blood trail all the way over here. It's quite impressive.
There's a woman. We might be able to save her, and another man who hasn't spoken.
So
But Ickbon will just slow us down. He stays.
So is Grass sort of cage or prison cell open basically at this point from the?
Yeah, you've snapped it open, so essentially you just have to push it a little bit further, and yeah, he could walk out.
Okay, so I do that for sure, and then I'll, I guess, go down here and sort of keep watch as best as I can with not being able to see very well down the hallway for any sort of hostile people coming. While the other people start to free everybody else, hopefully.
Adam, is there a door here that I can interact with to open, or can you foot me into the hallway?
Once it's your turn and you wish to step through, yep, just say, yeah, I'd like to move through, and I'll move you through.
All right, the turn order.
Indeed, yes, Elliot.
Hearing that, when Corin was talking to who was Ichabod, is that the guy in? I've got a black pink, so let me pick a more subtle color here.
So
Gray.
from your south is the man that's been speaking to you, and he said his name was Ickban. As you look towards him, you don't see any obvious signs of bleeding. He looks quite haggard and very tired, exhausted, that sort of thing. But to your north, yes, you see a lumped corpse on the ground here. Just on a quick glance, unless there's something crazy going on here, it seems pretty clearly this person's dead.
Okay, so there's Ichabod in the corner, and then an old man that hasn't spoken, so I'm thinking that's what Grask was talking about. So I'm gonna move here and I'm gonna say, Grask, where's the woman? Here?
I'll point her out.
You do not see her anywhere, Grask.
I'll point out where I've heard her from.
Yep, okay, so just to your north, across is where you saw her.
Over there.
Okay. I'm gonna move here. Do I see anything in the cage, Adam?
You do not.
Okay, so then I'm going to, let's see, that was 5, 10, 15, 20. Oof, yeah, I mean, all I got is 25, so I'm going to move back to this spot here, and I still got my crossbow drawn, and I'll just say, he doesn't look too hurt. I can get him if we want, or we can just get out of here with Grask. I got my scimitar in my sheath, Grask, if you need it. And then I'm gonna hold my action at him, and if I see an enemy come into my vision from this way down here, you know, this is as far as I can see, but I have my crossbow. If I can see an enemy enter my vision, that's obviously hostile, I'm gonna take a shot.
Okay. Okay, Corin.
Clarify just a hair. Grask was saying who we should leave? The guy who is slumped over dead, correct?
Grask verbally said to leave Ikban, and he said Ikban was very badly hurt, and it looks like he would slow you down. Visually, as you look at Ikban, that doesn't line up with what you're seeing, and the guy on the other side looks to be very badly hurt / very likely dead.
So Grask is just can't differentiate between humans and what they look like, I'm guessing. So Corin's gonna look at the guy in this cell over here, and he's gonna say, "Can you move?"
Yes, I can. Weak, but I can move. As you look at him a bit closer here, Corin, you realize that he is indeed a halfling, and he looks to be on the older side, perhaps in his 50s.
Well, we already made a bunch of noise with the crowbar episode, so I'm gonna firebolt this lock.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and post a firebolt. All right, you try to line up this shot and like hit right at the lock area, and as you cast your spell and point out where you want it to go, you realize you kind of just hit one of the bars and not even a solid impact, just kind of hits more towards the ground.
Screw it, I'm gonna quicken my spell and I'm gonna do that again.
All right, yeah, go ahead and burn your spell sorcery with quicken spell, and you do so again. Yeah, go ahead and post.
It's like kind of a terrible waste on that, but
this time it does connect. Go ahead and post damage. Yeah, the firebolt smacks into this lock, and you can see that it certainly seems to like burn it, singe it a bit. It's still intact, but you can tell this has damaged it.
Okay, so I did that. Yeah, he'll look over at Grask and say, "Grask, come and finish this lock," and then that'll be his.
All right, Grask, it is your turn.
Okay, I can't move through the walls, so the game won't let me cheat, even though my dad works at Roll20.
So you'd like to step through the now broken open cage, I presume?
Yes, please.
All right, you managed to do so.
Who had the crowbar?
Hugo.
Let me, okay, I will... Can I step here and take that from Hugo?
So, Hugo, what do you have in your hands right now? I assume a crowbar, and what else?
I guess it would be crowbar and shield, but I'll happily give the crowbar over to Grask.
Okay, then yeah, you certainly can. So, Grask, you take the crowbar from Hugo.
Thank you. And he'll walk over to where Corin said to come get the door open, and I'll take a try at the door.
Waiting at this door.
Oh, which door? Okay, well, I'll walk over to that door.
All right, yeah, go ahead and give me an athletics check, and this will be at disadvantage due to your exhaustion. Private, please. Yeah, your wounds are really weighing on you here, Grass, because you get the edge sort of in this area between the bars, and you start putting some pressure on it. It just does not seem to want to budge.
It won't open. We leave him.
So, crowbars give advantage.
Do they?
Depends on what you're using it for. For most strength-based checks, yes.
You need to roll it again, or
Nope. I took that into consideration.
I walk up to Grask and put a hand on his shoulder and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. All right, nice. You are restored 11 HP, Grask.
Thank you.
Babe, I think you do a little bit more too because of your cleric thing, right?
Oh God, I always forget to click that.
Oh, with the number 11, I assumed it had to be built in, but yeah, I should have hovered.
That was just a max roll. Great roll.
What is that extra? It's 3 more, I think, right?
I think it's your proficiency bonus. I got a life cleric that plays with my home game, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's 2 plus level of spell, so it should be 3. Yeah, so give yourself 3 more, Grask.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Sweet.
All right, so you've moved a bit, cast a spell. Okay, so before Hugo's turn, Hugo, you can hear the sound of movement to your southeast.
Like fall back down the hallway in like a hush. Something's coming.
No, don't fall back. We need to get out of here.
And pushing through this narrow opening, you notice once again the red ogre Scar.
That would trigger my action, yeah?
It would, yes, if you go ahead and make your attack. So right when he steps in is when it would trigger. So technically you're firing with cover. So I'll take that, but yep, go ahead and put yourself back to public. That will indeed strike. Go ahead and post damage. All right, your bolt catches Scar in the arm, cutting open another wound here as it pierces his body. All right, as he gets to there, we move to the top of the round with Hugo, and then we move to some bit more up-tempo music.
Okay. So Hugo looks back and sort of shouts to everyone, "Stay back! Don't be all clumped together. That's how he got us." And he's gonna pull out his short sword. Take a step forward. Swing.
All right, you stab forward with that short sword. Go ahead and make your attack. Yes, it does manage to slip through his armor here and score a hit. Go ahead and post damage. Wounding him with that attack.
Okay. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, Elliot.
Alrighty. Elliot, seeing it kind of tower over, he's going to, after firing off that crossbow bolt, he quickly loads another bolt. He looks behind him, and he knows that there's no exit, so we got to go that way. So he's going to reach back up, and he's going to fire another shot, try to aim for its, throat.
Nice. Go ahead and roll yourself a piercing critical.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, so go ahead and throw post damage, and I will take both of those.
And then 2 minor injuries, right?
Yes, go ahead and roll 2 minor as I pull up the table to know which one's lower on the list. So badly beaten is lower on the list, so we'll take that one. So yes, he will now have disadvantage on Constitution saving throws until he completes a long rest.
Okay, I'm just gonna duck around the. Oops, still got my measure. I'm gonna duck around the corner to here. I remember that blood spray and what it did to me last time, and I'm gonna just whisper or say to everybody. I was like, after you guys go, I'll follow behind you. I'll make sure we get Ichabod. Let's go.
Okay, Corin.
Corin will cast Bolt to the ogre man.
That
Good
unfortunately
lord.
did not connect. Go ahead and post damage though, so it burns your spell slot.
This is highly unfortunate. Level 2 sucks, but that's okay. Just trying to look real quick here. Oh, that's I think all that I've got. I think Corn's gonna stay right where he's at for the moment.
Okay. Okay, Grass, crowbar in hand, working on this cage. It's not opening, but you see this creature to your east. What would you like to do?
Corin, where's my weapon?
I don't know, but here, have this dagger. Give him a dagger.
I assume you have like a free hand right now, Corin?
I'm just gonna drop the torch because I don't.
So unfortunately, off turn, you wouldn't be able to drop a torch, grab a dagger, and hand it over. But I assume your dagger's somewhere in easy reach. Is it like on a belt loop or something?
Yeah, it is on a belt, so.
So
I
yeah,
guess
Grask,
it's
if you want to interact with object, you can basically just grab the dagger. I imagine sort of like Corin's like, I've got a dagger, and like aims his hip, and you just kind of grab it off in a sheath kind of thing.
He looks at the dagger and he looks at the crowbar, and he doesn't take the dagger, and he starts walking down the hallway.
All right.
All right, fine.
Okay, what do you think I can get for this crowbar? Because I know daggers are a dex weapon anyway, and I think they're 1d4.
Yeah, so crowbar would be an improvised weapon, so you won't get proficiency, but if you're attacking with it, just go ahead and roll a d20. We'll add your strength bonus in to see if you connect.
Okay, alternatively, are unarmed strikes proficient?
Yes, I believe everybody is proficient with an unarmed strike.
Okay, Grass gets here and then realizes that this crowbar is not going to work either, and he's just going to try and bite him.
Okay, yeah. Oof, that will be a fumble. Go ahead and roll. Bite, I think, is piercing, right, for you? Or actually, it won't matter for fumble. It's just melee weapon, so do melee fumble. Okay, so yeah, you lose your footing, and enemies have advantage on their attack rolls against you until the end of your next turn. You miss your attack.
That is me. That's my whole movement.
Okay, Harmony. All right, you called down some sacred flame upon him. It looks like that may have changed, so let me double check your sheet real quick. Because I'm pretty sure we set that up with our house rule in mind, but it's possible that when you leveled up, it reverted it for some reason.
I clicked it from the spell page. Maybe I should have clicked it from the first page.
Yep, go ahead and push it from the first page. But it had reverted for some reason, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Okay, so that's your sacred flame that you call down upon him. Let me see if that manages to hit him. It does indeed, yes. So the sacred flame hit him. I'll take that 2 damage that you rolled and apply it to Scar here. All right, so then we move to Scar's turn. Yes, he is wounded. He is very angry now. And similar to what you saw him do before, you're going to see that he squeezes his muscles very tightly, spraying blood upon both Hugo and Grask. And I'll need both of you guys to make Constitution saving throws. All right, so you will both manage to succeed on that, suffering half damage, so 8 points of acid damage to each of you. No additional rider effects from that. However, after he is hit by this, he is going to push back into the hallway. So as he moves to here, let's see, Grask, you could make an opportunity attack if you wish.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll try and bite him.
Your bite does manage to connect this time. All right,
If it has rage, it shouldn't. I know.
Yep, that's the crit. Yep, I'm ignoring it. So yes, you get a good chunk off of his arm. You hear an ah as the bite goes into him. He will then continue moving. So Hugo, if you wish to take an opportunity attack as well, you can.
Sure.
Unfortunately, your blade catches his armor plate and does not connect.
With a mouthful of them, I'll just say, get back here.
All right, move to the top of the next round with Hugo.
All right, I'll look back and say, I can't see up ahead.
I'll move.
I'll move down one. Yeah, since I can't see, I'm just going to. I guess I'll move back up one and just ready in action that if any hostile creature comes around the corner, I'm gonna stab it.
Okay. Then we move to Elliot's turn.
All right. Seeing all of that go down, Elliot is going to move to here, and he's got the crossbow in one hand, but he is going to clip it behind him, and he's going to grab that torch. I don't think I can hold a torch and a light crossbow, right, Adam?
You can, you just won't be able to reload the crossbow. And I would say
Okay.
if you try to shoot it one-handed, it would be at disadvantage.
Fair enough. So I'll at least hold on to it instead of clip it on my side then.
And this
I'll pick
is
up
this the torch that Corin has in his hand?
Corin dropped it so he could shoot that, or so he could. No, wait, he didn't drop it, did he?
He did not.
No. I'll let you have it.
Sure, I'll grab it. I'll grab the torch.
So it would have Hugo if you were willing to spend your reaction on that, but since you attacked as he stepped away, you will have to hold on that for another time. Okay, so I'm going to remove the light from Corin then, and apply torch to Elliot.
Yep. Okie dokie. So that was, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That is my movement. So for my action, I'm going to go here, here, here. And then I'm actually...
So just FYI here, Elliot, as a reminder, the old speed for halflings was 25. They did upgrade it to 30 now, so if you were only counting 25, your speed is 30.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem, because I'm just going to move all the way across the hall to here.
Okay.
And use my action to dash. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and go into the next room. Well, can I stand in a threshold? Can I do
Sure.
that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, and that will end my turn.
Okay, Corin.
We're gonna try and firebolt this lock again.
All right, you turn to that lock once again and blast off another firebolt. Go ahead. Yeah, smacks into it solidly. It seems to damage it, but just barely. Maybe it doesn't hit and connect quite as well. So again, it heats the lock up. You can see it's kind of scarred from this blackness of the fire, but it's still intact.
He's calling his buddies, Corin. Let's get out of here.
We'll come back for you. And then he'll...
You hear, ah, no, no!
That's my turn.
Okay, Grask.
Does Grass turns around and he looks at Armony? Armony, are you like looking at the cage? Does it look at all like you really want to stay and help this guy?
Definitely, she's got concern in her eyes.
Okay, Adam, can I take my action to just huck the crossbow down the hallway?
Sure, yeah.
Crowbar, you mean?
Wait, yeah, sorry. What did I say?
I heard crossbow and thought crowbar. Isn't that so weird? So yes, crowbar. You can definitely throw it down the hallway. Sure.
Okay, I'll use my action to do that, and then I actually have quite a bit of exhaustion, so I can't move that far, but I'll move to here.
Okay.
And that is me.
Okay, Armony.
I'll pick up the crowbar and try to open the lock.
All right, yeah. Go ahead and give me a blind check as you try to open this cage. All right, Armony, as you put a bit of pressure on this cage, after the damage of the fire on the lock pad itself, it does suddenly snap free and the cage opens.
I say, run!
Oh, I'll try! So that would be your action. Anything else, Armony? Okay, moving down.
Yes, I think that was 40, so...
That looks like 35 to me.
Okay. I think that'll do it for now.
All right, go ahead and pass your turn. From the other hallway, you guys can hear a roared speech. Oh, they're back! I hurt me bad! And we move to the top of the round. But guys, let's go ahead and take our 15-minute break here and see if the group manages to get out of this with one piece, or in one piece. So be back in 15 minutes, folks, for the other side.
Phew. High pressure situation.
Alrighty, folks, we are back for the second half of our session here. We'll go back over to the appropriate map that the party is currently on. And we'll get some additional high-intensity music going. Alrighty, excellent. We are at the top of the initiative order with Hugo.
So Hugo sort of stares at Grask and says, Grask, do you want to fight or do you want to run?
Let's leave.
Right. And so with that, I will... Oops. I'll run to there. And heck, I'll just dash since we're just running out.
All right, so a move and a dash.
Alrighty, I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to make my way to about right here. And I'm going to hold an action to run or keep moving forward. Or dash, I guess you can say, my action to dash. Once I see all of my companions have entered the room safely. If they don't all make it in safely, I'm not going to run, though.
Okay, so for interpretation perspective, I'm going to assume that once all of your companions have entered the room, that will be your trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The halfling.
Yes, the halfling is... so I rolled his initiative. I didn't think there's any way he'd beat you guys, but he certainly did with that 19. So he did move. You notice he's moving slow. I would say Armony and Corin, you both notice this. He looks like he's moving at an exhausted pace as he's trying to drag himself and follow you all.
I don't think I'm gonna. There's not much mechanically that I can do to help this guy. If I grab him and start dragging him, that's like a grapple, and then I can't dash, and then he only moves 15 feet, and then he's stuck with me. So I think I'm just gonna let him run, and hopefully he makes it. So that's 15. 30. I will hold Toll the Dead for any of our enemies coming into sight.
Okay.
Back down. Well, anywhere. Not necessarily just down this hallway, but if they appear over here too.
If you see an enemy, you toll the dead on it.
Yes.
All right. Before the next turn, just checking real quick to see if your Toll the Dead also got messed up. Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, at each level up, we may have to tweak these guys. That's kind of a pain, but okay. So before Grask's turn, unnamed opponent in the Darkness's turn. All right, Grask's turn.
Okay. Grass is going to keep moving out. He's also keeping an eye out for his stuff, if he can see it. It's not in this room, is it?
You haven't seen your axe or anything along those lines, no.
I still have my stuff.
And I'm imagining what they took from you, Grask, essentially is your axe. They didn't take like a backpack or anything like that.
Okay, I had some javelins and a hand axe, I'm guessing. Like all the weapons.
Honestly, it would just be whatever when you drop to the ground, your axe was in hand, so I'm assuming they would have taken that. They did not even follow up to check your body to look for anything else.
Oh man, I could have thrown a javelin. Alright, I'm gonna dash to move to there. I did 10, and then there's the extra 5 and a 15.
Okay. Okay, before Armony's turn... Other hidden enemies in the dark. Elliot and Corin, from the door on the south wall, you can hear an
Was that a undead sounding groan or a someone is hurt groan?
Give me... I'll just use your passive perception here and say it sound undeadish.
Thank you.
Okay, we move to Armony's turn then, after all those hidden invisible enemies.
Okay. Can you hear me? There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I'm really struggling with the push to talk. Armony is going to cast Entangle. And I'm going to stop pressing the push to talk in order to try to demonstrate where.
Okay, gotcha.
So 20 feet, like, stopping at the corner of the hallway.
Okay, so this is where you get to try something fancy now, Harmony. So let me just make sure I've got this set up for you guys. I do. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through how you do this. So in the top right corner of your screen, you're going to see a bulleted list icon. Go ahead and click that. That should open the macros section. And you should see a macro in the list called cast-entangle. Just to the left of the words cast-entangle, you should see a die icon. As long as you have your token selected on the map, I would like you to go ahead and click that die icon just left of cast-entangle. Once you do that, you should get, I believe, yeah, so notice that little targeting icon that just popped up right on your portrait. You should now be able to click that targeting icon and move it to where you like. All right, perfect. And we'll just leave it right there as there's no enemies in that area that you can see. We don't need to trigger this to make it take effect, but that's going to visually tell us right where your entangle is. So you've casted the spell. Go ahead on your sheet, post the fact that you cast entangle, and that will burn it from your sheet. And that whole area, suddenly vines and creepers and all these things grow out of the little areas between the cobblestone where some roots could take hold and cover that entire area with grasping weeds and vines.
Sorry, I gotta plug my mouse back in. I'm going to move my full movement.
Okay. Okay, so with everybody now in the room, Elliot, I assume this would trigger your ready to action?
It would. I believe that would take me to the end of the hallway here.
Okay.
I don't want to go like too crazy far ahead, but
So you're where you're at right now, you're good staying right there.
that sounds perfect to me, yeah.
All right, Ikban is trying to follow behind, though he's a bit slow. Also, other invisible enemies moving in the darkness.
Difficult terrain, difficult terrain.
Not that darkness, but let's see. Okay, so based on where you guys are at right now, and trying to not make this super slow, the fact that you're all trying to get out, what I'm going to say is you guys do manage to get to that exit and start leaving, and as you're trying to get out as quickly as possible and you're not lingering, you seem to gain separation from the immediate enemies here, if anything even is chasing you at this point, as you haven't seen anything. So I'm going to go ahead and kill that high intensity music. I'm going to put you guys back over on the map, and actually you're already kind of right where you need to be. So I'll move you guys back here, and then I'll throw a Grask on there as well, as you have now rescued Grask from down in the Scarlet Citadel.
Did we get our halfling friend too?
He is coming up behind you, but he is certainly much slower. All right, so that is where you guys are at the moment. I'm going to end combat, get that turn order out of there. Okay, so this is where you find yourselves as you emerge. Again, remember, it's not, this area doesn't connect like really briefly to the other area. There is a bit of climbing stairs. So you guys have done maybe 30 feet of climbing stairs before you get to this point.
How far did they follow last time?
Well, they didn't. Once we got to the surface, they stopped. We should make our way out of here, though. I mean, we shouldn't linger. And I'm gonna put my earmuffs back in, Adam.
Okay.
I'm going to give halfling guy my earmuffs. put these on.
Okay,
Put my-
and you briefly explain to him how these work, essentially?
Yeah, they go over your ears, you see.
And he looks a bit confused, but he takes these sort of wads of cloth and sticks them in his ears as best he can.
Herpes. And then I think now that we're sort of out of danger, this will be when Corin starts helping a halfling man along. And he'll look at the rest. We'll keep moving then. See if we can't get out of here.
Yeah, maybe we make a break for them woods and catch our breath. Both of them look like they should get some shut-eye.
I agree.
Hugo's gonna put his earmuffs back in as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna hand the thieves' tools back to Hugo. Also,
Thank you.
Does the halfling have his earmuffs in yet, or is in like just hearing the explanation?
Nope, he has now put them in. So far it looks like everybody except for Corin and Grask have them in.
You were the guys that got hypnotized the first time.
Yes, exactly.
It won't happen again.
Hit it.
Somebody can have mine if they want them.
All right, so safe to say it's your plan for you guys to climb back up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so hold on moving tokens for a moment. I'll just slide you guys up there again.
Gresk will lift the halfling up.
All right, Grask, you lift Ikban up, and he is fairly a bit flustered here, but he certainly doesn't resist or anything.
Obviously that was to lift him so he could get up, not
Right.
like who's a big boy.
Elliot, as you step to this area here...
I was gonna say I'm moving quietly.
Oh, didn't say that before you move the token, though. But as you step to here, you suddenly hear the sound of music ringing out, and I will need everybody to go ahead and throw me a wisdom saving throw.
Do our muffles feel like they're giving us any bit of...
They are, but
Yep.
exactly how much is hard to say. Okay, Elliot and Hugo, both of you hear the sound of this wonderful music, and I'll tell you where it's coming from once it becomes relevant. Armony, Corin, and Grask, you guys hear this muffled sound through your muffles, or at least for Armony. For Corin and Grask, you hear this terrible screeching sound that seems to be ringing out in the area. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put us back in initiative order. Bear with me one moment while I get the 37 opponents added real quick. Okay, this is the accurate turn order now of what you can see. Again, that music seems to be echoing from around here. Hard to tell exactly where it's coming from at the moment, but Hugo, it is your turn.
Wait, should I re-roll?
Yes. How do I keep forgetting that? I don't know if I'm ever going to remember that. But yes, please, Armin. It's glad that you remember that. So yes, please re-roll. All right. That's more what we expect right there. All right. Yes, Hugo's turn.
All right. Am I like compelled to try and find it at this point? To try and find the source of the music?
So you were one of the ones that failed your save, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So you hear this most beautiful music coming from your north. You are compelled to search out the source of this beautiful music because you want to try to get as close to it as you can. Let me double check the exact wording. I don't think it says you have to dash, for example, but I would say at minimum you will have to use your full movement trying to get closer to it.
I'll ask this now because I'm gonna. It's better to ask now than after. Attacks of opportunity. Can I try and hit him as he tries to move away? Because I feel like Grask has an idea of what's going on. Or are those attacks only for enemies?
No, not necessarily. I mean, generally, you could take an opportunity attack against an ally. We just waive it because nobody ever does. So I would say yes, based on your experience of having heard this sound. I think the only challenging part here is obviously you guys wouldn't all be exactly clumped together when this happened. Elliot was just a little quick on the trigger of getting out of there. So I will say, yeah, okay, sure. I'll say you're all right here roughly in the same space because that's where you were when we paused it. And I'll say yes, if you wish to take an opportunity attack, you can.
Okay, needs to be when he tries to leave the space anyway. So
Correct, yep.
Okay. So, yeah, he's gonna... Is this map where you said it was coming from the
north, which on this map is to your right.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, he's gonna go up past Elliot, be like, get out of the way, move! Push through him.
Alright, I'll try and strike him to shake him out of it.
All right, so as he steps more than 5 feet away from you, so I'll just back him up to the 10-foot mark. So essentially right when he is getting to here is when your attack goes off. So go ahead.
Non-lethal.
That's not really a thing unless you hit them to 0 in this. And unfortunately, I assume with your unarmed strike, are you biting or punching?
I'm just punching. I think that always does 1, doesn't it?
It's 1 plus your strength if you manage to hit.
Okay, well, this is going to be better than the alternative. I don't have that built in, but I do have bite, so this is just going to be 1 plus my strength is 3.
Okay, so you try to punch into Hugo, but he evades your strike. Perhaps noticing you're getting ready to punch him, he just avoids it or you hit his armor. It doesn't seem to have any effect on him.
Hugo, don't go.
But of course, you ignore that, Hugo, so...
It's lovely. Don't try to stop me. And he will... Yeah, I mean, I guess he will dash. I don't see anything else to... He gets to there. I guess, but as my bonus action, though, I am going to expend Second Wind.
Okay. Explain to me the rationale behind that. Here's why I'll ask that. Being that you think you're going to somewhere really peaceful and great and all loveliness, why would you try to recover HP?
He just wants to look as good as possible for when he meets whoever is singing this song.
Okay. Hey, I'll buy that logic. Absolutely. Yeah, okay. You want to look your best? Sure. I'll go with that. Yeah, go ahead and burn Second Wind. All right, excellent. So you bonus action recover 8 HP as you get your Second Wind. Okay, and then we move to Elliot, who I believe also failed his save. So Elliot, you hear this beautiful music to your north.
Yeah, I'll just follow Hugo. Seems like he knows where the music's at.
Okay, then we move to Ikban, who you hear him say, "Oh, it's lovely."
Not again.
Damn it.
And then we move to Corin.
All right, let's get them. He's moving. I don't think I can actually go past here. With Grask and his attack of opportunity kind of deal, does Corin know that if they're hurt, that they'll snap out of it, or at least get another chance to snap out of it? Is that a thing that he...
Well, you remember when you were under this effect, your allies kept punching you and trying to knock you out of it. But yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I recall that now. Yeah, I can't actually reach Elliot. So I'm gonna firebolt him.
You're fire-bolting Elliot?
Yep.
All right, so you shoot through Ickbon. This will grant cover. So let's double-check Elliot's AC here. Yes, that will manage to strike into Elliot. And as the firebolt hits you, Elliot, you suffer 4 points of fire damage, and you can go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw.
Can I use my reaction to reduce that damage? Because I guess not. No, I'll take it.
No, you totally can do that. Yes, you want to
No.
burn your reaction and take 0 damage? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, it's not.
All right, fair
I'm just trying to
enough.
do some math. I thought about it as I was saying it. All right. Public wisdom. Here we go. It's not that great, guys. But I do have my ears muffed. I don't know if that helps on this kind of save.
Not on that one, it doesn't.
Should have freaking reduced the damage.
Okay, so you're unfortunately still under this effect. Before Grask's turn, a second lovely ballad rings out, and I will need Grask and Corin to give me wisdom saves. Corin, you do have the half-elf thing, right? So that's advantage?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so yes, you guys both hear a second set of just absolute screeching, clashing lyricals, if you can even call them lyrics, right? This music kind of floating through the air, but it sounds like 2 distinct songs that are both clashing against one another. And Grask, it is your turn.
Wait, what about me?
Let's see. Did you fail to save the first time?
No.
Oh, then my bad. Yes, you will. I think because you're underneath Grask, I missed you there. Yes, another save, please, Harmony.
I do have the half elf thing too.
Okay, so yes, you are certainly not affected with that roll, and yeah, you also hear this second set of really terrible music clashing together.
Grask will look at Harmony and try and get a read on her and say, "What do you hear?"
I hear more of these crazy harpies. It sounds like she brought company.
He'll nod, good, and he'll try and catch up to the others, but he's slow because he's exhausted. So I will use my action to dash. So there's another 5. I can move 10. I can't. Well, I could occupy the same space as him and then fall prone.
You could,
Does that
yeah.
help? Does that help? Not really. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's just a traffic jam for the moment.
Yep. Wait, he's not small, is he? Or halfling? Can I occupy the same space as him?
He's small, but even at small, you would still fall prone.
Right, it's 2 size difference.
Yep.
Okay. All right, this me.
Okay, Harmony's turn.
Okay. Harmony is going to see how far she can get up here. Okay, if I cast guidance on Elliot, will that help him in his next wisdom saving throw? Is that happening on every turn for him?
So what you know of the guidance cantrip is that it helps skill checks, not necessarily saving throws.
Damn it. Then she'll just hit him with her staff.
All right, yes, go ahead and make an attack with your staff against Elliot. You smash out with your quarterstaff and manage to wallop him upside the head. Go ahead and post damage. All right, Elliot, you are going to suffer 2 points of damage as you get smacked by that, and you can make another wisdom save. This time you managed, after getting hit and suffering some pain, the frequency of the song changes for a moment, and you can hear that terrible cacophony underneath it, and yes, you are no longer affected.
Ah, damn. Thanks, Omni.
Anytime.
Okay, we'll move to the top of the round with Hugo.
Okay. He's just gonna keep looking for the source of the music, and he like turns back and goes, "None of the rest of you come. It's you don't want to freak them out or anything like that. I'll just go ahead."
It still sounds like it's coming from your north, Hugo.
If he, can I take a shot with my crossbow as an attack of opportunity, or does it have to
cannot.
be melee?
Has to be melee. So, Hugo, as you get to, let's see, you came down the stairs to here-ish, you realize the sound seems to be emanating from over in this area.
He straightens his clothes a little bit and dashes in there.
All right, as you enter, you notice perched in the corner is this lovely songstress, just turning out a tune that is so beautiful.
He just enters smile and nod mode and is like, "Hello."
Okay, Elliot's turn.
Elliot is going to move down the stairs. I can slightly see the token atom, but I mean, I assume it's because it's a circle occupying a square space. Can I make out any of the creature there?
Perhaps a little bit, but if you're looking for a shot, I would say significant cover in place here.
If I move to somewhere like right here, I can see probably 50% of the token. Do I feel like I have a better chance of shooting? Maybe still some cover, but...
So what I would say is you've moved there, so unfortunately you can't move back because that's giving you the benefits of seeing other things that you may not be able to see. Then what we'll do is just draw a line from your token down to the token and see if it goes through the wall. It does. If we take a corner... Yes, I would say you're still going to be dealing with significant cover.
Okay, I'll still try to fire a shot off because I do remember last time if you hit the singer, it can sometimes break it too. So I'll try. Can't hurt.
Well, it could hurt if you hit her.
Well, it hurts her, yeah. I guess that's true.
Go ahead and make your attack. No, unfortunately, trying to aim this shot perfectly, you hit the wall of the Scarlet Citadel.
Alright, I'll just end my turn.
All right, Ickbon, still hearing this beautiful music, continues moving. Making his way down the stairs. All right, over here on this side. All right, so for mechanical purposes, Hugo, right now you are considered to be incapacitated. So the creature is going to attack you, but for the effects of this, you don't think of this as being a bad thing. You are still in the thralls of this music, so even this attack doesn't seem to really shake you too much. However, you're still able to defend yourself, which is kind of odd. It's almost like you're swaying back and forth, maybe. So please throw me a defensive roll, 2 of them, in fact. All right, you're grooving to the tunes, and you manage to evade both of these attacks, even though you don't know it. Corin.
It's got some drunken master vibes going on right now. Move down to here. That's 30. Hugo. Hugo hasn't been hit yet, so I'm gonna toll the dead on him. Maybe that will disrupt the sound waves of the song.
All right, yep, go ahead and post that from the attack screen. 22 will certainly hit Hugo, as that is a wisdom save for Hugo. So on player characters, this would work for him as a wisdom save. So Hugo, go ahead and throw a wisdom saving throw, please. And Corin, is that DC 14 accurate for you?
Yes.
Okay, so Hugo succeeds on this, suffering no damage.
Okay, so movement. I'm not gonna do anything just yet. That's my turn.
Okay, before Grask's turn.
I hate before Grask's turn.
Grask,
After.
you hear the sound of wings flying by, flashing, flapping, that sort of thing. And flying up alongside you is one of these creatures that is going to attempt to attack you. So I will need 2 defensive rolls here, Grask. And yes, you managed to evade both the club smash towards you as well as the claws. And then it is your turn, Grask.
Okay. Can a javelin be used in melee?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do then. Grass is going to pull a javelin from his kit and attempt to stab out with it.
All right, you stab out towards the flying creature. Yes, that will connect. And you wound her as you hit her in the chest.
Got one here.
Okay, Harmony.
Okay. Where I am, is there a wall or a balcony looking into the courtyard?
It's a balcony, so you can see over it. You can see past them and down and see all this. So yes, think of it as like this is sort of like a, well, you can't see where I'm moving my mouse. This right here is sort of like a half wall. You can think of it as. So where you're standing, there's like maybe 2.5, 3 feet of stone, and then you're looking over it down this way.
Okay, I'm going to do Sacred Flame down on Hugo.
Okay, so Hugo, this will be a dex save for you. And Hugo is too quick. You cannot hit him here, Harmony.
Oh my god.
Hugo looks over and is like, "Don't ruin this for me."
All right, just checking movement real quick there. So you came down. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So Hugo, your turn. Unfortunately, you're incapacitated. You're still here. You're not far away from the creature, so no need to move. So essentially, your turn just ends as we move to Elliot.
Alrighty, crossbow in hand. Elliot is going to move into this little interior angle and seeing that songstress, I'm going to try to put a crossbow in her mouth. That way, it might shut her up.
This time the bolt does manage to connect. Go ahead and post damage. Yes, the bolt pierces into her. And Hugo, you can go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw. This time, as she is struck and her song falters, you can hear that the song is actually terrible and you are no longer affected.
Perfect. I just kind of like smack him on the back of the head for good measure. Like, come on, Hugo. It's not that
Oh,
good.
God.
It's wrong. Yeah. She kissed you on the mouth as I run away. And then back around the corner trying to avoid any kind of talons or anything.
And you hear Ikman say, oh, what is that? Oh, it's terrifying. And he hugs the Scarlet Citadel here as he makes his way over to here. Hugo, you notice this terrifying flying woman angrily leaps towards you and tries to grab onto you. You can make either an athletics or an acrobatics check here, your choice.
Okay.
She manages to grab onto you here, Hugo, and begins to fly straight up. You watch team as the creature with Hugo grabbed, I imagine, sort of like by the shoulders on her eagle-like talons, gripping him, and she just goes straight up in the air with him. 10 feet, 20 feet. Yes, 20 feet in the air currently as we move to Corin.
Do I got a good angle from here? Or I'm going to move anyway. Yeah, do I have a good angle from where I'm at?
Angle to what?
To hit the harpy?
Yes, you would. She's 20 feet in the air, so she is above this piece of building, so sure.
Okay. Cast bolts to her harpiness.
That will connect.
Oh, good.
All right, and let's check your dice rolls.
A 7 and a 4. So fire or psychic.
Looks like force or psychic.
Is that force? Oh, yep, you're right. I'm gonna go with force because that's always, forceful. And then after that blasts her, I'm going to quicken a Toll the Dead on her.
All right, go ahead and burn those points to quicken. And then post a Toll the Dead. She is not affected by your Toll the Dead. And I'm assuming that's obviously not an advantage, right?
No. So that I think that's gonna be it for. Oh, I still got like 10 feet of movement. So there.
Okay, Grask, you're going to notice this harpy is going to try to do the same to you as she reaches out to grab onto you. Your choice of athletics or acrobatics to resist.
I will do. You said me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one near me. I will do athletics. Do you just want me to click that?
Yep, yeah, you can roll it publicly. She manages to grab onto you. Remind me what your weight is, Grask?
Oh, what's her strength?
Remind me what your weight is, Grask?
I never write that down. It almost
What?
never comes up. No. Okay, hold up. Does everyone else have their weight written down?
Yes,
Really?
I do at least.
I don't know.
I do actually, yeah.
Yeah, Elliot is
Oh,
80
oh,
pounds.
man. Let me
Yep,
go look up
I
a
have
lizardman weight for you, Adam.
I mean, ballpark, I'm okay with. I mean, generally, I think you described him as being pretty big, right? Is 300 pounds ballpark good?
That might be too much. Probably like 250, 260.
Okay, 250, 260. And then how much gear do you have on you?
My total weight for equipment on my sheet says 113.
Okay, so I'm going to say ballpark, you're just shy of 400 pounds altogether. So as she starts lifting you up over this precipice, she flies up about 10 feet, and you can see the strain in her face. She cannot continue lifting you, and you fall straight down, slamming down into this cobblestone, suffering 18 points of damage from the fall.
I am down.
All right, so you are knocked unconscious. From there, she is going to continue flying up, and she will get up on top of the building. Okay, Grass, GM death save, please. You should be familiar with these by now.
Let me find it.
All right, then we move to Harmony.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I will cast let's go with Cure Wounds.
Okay. And it looks like, yeah, that is really annoying. So it looks like your global macro that we set got altered as well. So, so no, actually that one looks like it's still working. So when you click that, did it give you a prompt for what level you wanted to cast it at?
Yep, I selected one.
Weird. Okay, so maybe they changed something there. All right, so that is 3 actually. So that's 7 back to Grask.
Okay.
And I believe you are
Sweet.
now at 3 levels of exhaustion, Grask.
That should be 3.
All right, so Grask, you are filled with some energy here as this restorative power flows through you. I'm just checking the 3 on your sheet to remind myself what the effect of that is. Okay, excellent. All right, so we move to Hugo's turn. So Hugo, you are currently 20 feet in the air, being grasped by this flying creature by the shoulders. What would you like to do?
Okay. Could I use my telekinetic shove to try to shove her down? Like, could I angle my body to make it so that I could try to shove her down?
I would say no, because normally you're either pulling towards you or you're pushing away. And because you guys are literally right next to each other right now, you can't pull her 5 feet.
Okay, fair enough. Am I able to access my sword and try to stab her?
Yes. Yeah, I assume that's what you had in your hand, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so you could pretty much stab her. And keep in mind, you could always telekinetically try to push her away from you, like up if you wanted to.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, first I'll try to stab her since I'm right up on her.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and make that attack as you stab upward towards the harpy. Yeah, that'll certainly connect. Go ahead and post damage. Your blade catches her sharply in the leg, wounding her badly. And she drops you as this happens. So you will fall through the air, slam onto the ground, become prone, and suffer 4 points of damage.
Okay. I'm going to use my reaction to use the dream.
All right,
dream
yes.
Power.
So
And
just,
I'll
I will
take
remove
all 4
that.
of that.
Yep, we'll remove that shield icon from you, and no damage to you.
Okay. And then, is she within? I think it's 60 feet. So yeah, I'm gonna telekinetically pull her down closer.
All right,
And
go ahead and
just
throw
do
a
it, and just-
telekinetic shove as you try to grasp her telekinetically and pull her closer to you. Unfortunately, she resists this effect.
Okay. And then, did
Let's
you say
run.
I'm prone?
You are prone, yes.
So I'll use half my movement to stand up,
Okay.
and then I will, I guess, just call up at her and say, "Oh, come here! No, I really want to go with you. Come on down here. Come pick me back up."
You can't tell, but you think you see her stick her tongue out at you. All right, Elliot.
Alrighty. Sorry, I ate a crouton right at the same moment you said my name. She's still in the air, right? I can see her?
From where you're at right now, I'd say you can see part of her.
How about now?
Yep, I would say you can see her now.
All right, I'm going to shoot her now.
All right, take a shot.
Yes, I do have enough croutons for everybody.
Yes, that will indeed connect. Wounding her.
How does she look, Adam? Does she look...
Kind of hot, probably mid-30s. No, I'm kidding. She's wounded
Brunette?
badly.
Wounded badly? Okay.
Yes, wounded badly.
I will take my actions... Oh, man, I almost said it really bad. Action surge there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to shoot her again. Or try to,
Okay,
at least.
so unfortunately that will not work, as one of the limitations of a crossbow is loading, and unfortunately even with action surge you cannot load faster.
Hey, that's okay. I will move then. I won't waste it. I'll just use it to dash. Actually, no, I won't, because I still had 15, so I'm going to move to there, and then I'm going to use my action surge to dodge. How about that?
That'll work.
And also, it's bothering me. Is there no music playing, or is it just me?
Maybe just you. I can restart it. It usually does the trick.
All right.
I can hear it.
Okay, I might have been because I had to refresh my roll 20.
That'll do it every time.
Battle was super anticlimactic without any sound.
I know, music adds all the value to it, I'm telling you. All right, so that guy, Ikban, moves a bit, very slowly, of course. Okay, the wounded harpy is going to fly over the wall to the other side and descend. Corin.
Okay, we're gonna move this way and this way. Do I have a good view of Harpy Lady, the one that's wounded over here?
You do not. You don't see her at all, in fact.
Okay, then I'm afraid of this other one. Okay, do I have view of the one over here?
You do. She is perched on top of the Scarlet Citadel at the moment.
Let's try a Dissonant Whispers on her.
Remind me the range of that one?
60 feet.
Yep, you're good then. Okay, so looks like we don't have that one built in as an attack for you. Just go ahead and throw a quick spell attack roll, or spell effect roll, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was thinking it might have been in the other thing. Okay, hold on.
Okay, yes, that will work. So she will suffer some psychic damage, and then I think this says she must flee right away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'll do the trick. So she will suffer that psychic damage and then immediately flies away from you as far as she can.
Hey.
Okay, again, based on timing here, guys, I certainly don't want to shortcut anybody's turns, but you've seen this pattern before. Once the creature's wounded, it seems to try to flee. One of them is badly hurt. The other one, with that psychic damage, is fairly hurt. So they're essentially both going to try to avoid you guys, and they should be able to easily do that as they're nowhere close to you guys. So I'm going to say we're out of combat at this point, and feel free to move as you wish.
Go.
Let's get back to Red Tower.
Ooh-wee. I did not think that was going to go well, to be honest with you. I thought you were long dead, Grask.
I was.
Obviously not. You're still living and breathing, which I'm happy for.
I don't understand why you came back.
It's what you do.
Grask, I couldn't have left you behind, man. I'm gonna put an arm under I keep forgetting the halfling's name.
Ikban.
And or Grask to help them along.
Corin looks over at the owl bear. How big is this thing? This is big, right? I don't
Big.
think. Yeah. I guess we'll have to come back for this.
No, we bring it.
I don't know about that, Grass. We're pretty much going to have to drag you back. Who's going to carry it?
I'll bring it then.
Maybe we can chop it up smaller pieces.
I did already. We can do it smaller. I'll carry a bit.
You did cut that up, didn't you?
I know you did a lot of furious attacks on it, slicing into it while you were here the first time.
Yeah, I
Well.
think we said we took like some arms and legs from it mostly. The easy to get off parts, the drumsticks, if you will.
All right, so I'll amend my original description to say, not that predators have gotten here, but maybe a lizard man did.
Should we try to sell like the head to that
Tana?
tanner that we met?
They could probably
Might be able to.
taxidermy it.
Yeah, we could trade it for some of them rabbit's feet.
I thought we agreed we'd eat it.
Well, yeah, we'll eat the arms and the legs, but, we can at least take the head. People pay a lot of things. We could sell it to the inn. They could put it up there behind the bar or something. But, I mean, to be honest, we could dip set and just get the heck on out of here.
I think we should leave. You don't want to maybe eat it, Grass, because I'm pretty sure they're magical creatures of some sort. You know what I mean? It's not natural.
It's been there a while too.
It's only been a day.
Heck yeah, I'll eat it. I've had chicken older than that.
Everyone grabs a piece.
Grask isn't leaving it. He's like, if no one else will help him, he'll drag it alone.
I can give him a rope that he can use to pull it behind him.
I'll carry a couple arms.
Yeah, I got 10 feet of rope. Yeah. How about you, Igbon? Give us your story. What were you doing down there?
I was just gonna ask that.
Oh, yeah, it'd be so much more comfortable to talk about, in a nice warm inn with a roaring fire and a drink in my hand.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen in the next few minutes. I mean, we saved
Town's
your
not
life.
far.
No, but I mean, we're closer. We just
I
saved
was
your
on
life.
the way.
Yeah, give us a little insight. It's not like we're gonna hurt you.
I guess. Well, I'm Ickbon Tea Strainer. Yep, that's me. I'm a scholar. And, you see, I got captured. I suppose that part was probably pretty obvious, right? You see, I was walking in the woods, and, exactly who got me, I don't know, but I saw like a shadow, like a person behind me, and then I felt this lump hit right in the back of the head. And I'm sure I fell down. I think I passed out then. And, when I woke up, I was down there in those cells.
Was it these woods up here? Close by?
Closer to Red Tower, actually.
And now, this may be an odd question, Ickbon, but did you happen to see any mist before that thing attacked you?
No, somebody in the village said something about that, but no.
Yeah, we heard the same. We were just curious. But hey, look, whatever you went through is over now. Let's get you back home.
Yes, right. Yep, let's do that.
I can't believe they're hunting in the woods.
You need to let him go.
You're from Red Tower.
Not, most recently, yes.
Same with us.
There's something we should know, Ickbon.
Well, like I said, if we were in the inn and a nice cold drink and a warm fire, I'd feel relaxed and I could remember the specific details.
Grask will push him roughly. You don't get to make decisions, Igbon. They saved us when our lives were forfeit. We're theirs now.
But if I tell you, you're gonna want to go back in there, and I don't want to go back in there.
Well, why don't you just say that? Look, I mean, we need to get our friend back to get some rest anyways. Using the inn as a place to learn will probably be best, but, you know, we'd still like to know. But we ain't gonna force you to go back in there, Igbon.
Okay, well, you see, there was 2 other prisoners down there. There was this, guy and this lady. And, well, the lady, they were, torturing her pretty bad. And they taken her away. And the guy they brought back and they threw him in the corner there. I think he was dead. He looked awfully messy. But that lady, well, she was, like, screaming and stuff as they took her away. And, I'm pretty sure I heard her screaming even from all the way over there where they do whatever they do to him. But I think she was still alive.
She did scream a lot.
See, he knew. Oh, why didn't you tell him that? Why are you pushing me?
We don't have to go back in there for her, don't worry.
Oh, good.
We should get off of their front doorstep, for now at least. I mean, those harpies could bring back more than one. I mean, there was 2 this time. Who knows what'll be there next time. But let's go get everybody some food, some fire.
And I imagine this conversation has been going on as you're making the trek back to the village of Red Tower. And as it's only a couple of miles away, it's not too long before you find yourself on the outskirts of the village.
Before we get inside of the village, I'm going to look at Igbon and say, you know, back in Proudglaive, they do say that you earn an automatic bounty for saving somebody. I think it was drinks and food. Ain't that right, Harmony? Something like that? Drinks and food.
Oh, so you're like under the impression that when they kidnapped me, they just like left money on me or gave me money or something? I could see how you can make that mistake.
Don't listen to him. They left me my money.
Well, you got a place in town we could stop at beforehand. Make sure your pockets are full. I mean, what, were you hoping we were going to pay for your drink too?
No, but I've made some friends in the village. I'm sure I can get some help before I get back on my feet.
What kind of a job do you have there, Igbon?
Oh, well, I'm a scholar, you see. I'm studying natural growths in the area, like the fungal growth, and some specific plants and herbs and those kind of things.
Ooh, I love plants.
Oh, nice. Yes, there's a lot to learn there.
For sure. Do you know where to find mistletoe in this area?
In this area? I think you'd have to go quite a bit more northwest in Rosone. There's not a lot of mistletoe right by the village here.
I see.
Depending on how much you need, though, you might find it in town. I'm surprised how well stocked the innkeeper is at the cage. It seems like the innkeeper has quite a bit of things you'd never expect.
Good to know.
Let's get you over there, Igbon, and then we can share our information and learn as much as we can from each other about these crazy people that are abducting you.
Yes, yeah, okay, sounds good. Alright, so it sounds like you guys want to make your way back into the village. Are you taking any particular precautions or special actions other than just following the road back to the village?
Just always circumnavigating that damn pond.
Alright, fair enough. So I'll assume, like before, you kind of step off the path a bit, go into the farmlands, come out of the farmlands, and then continue on your way doing one of these dealios. All right, and then you find yourself in the village proper. You notice the guard standing here, same one as before, sees you guys approaching and gives you a nod and kind of raises an eyebrow at Grass for a moment. And then you see him doing like this mental calculation and kind of nods with this sort of satisfied look on his face.
Does Ickbon, he's wearing his clothes he got abducted in? Do they look like scholars' clothes?
He's wearing like a robe, a red robe that kind of trails on the ground, but it's all muddy and dirty right now. And he's got like a vest on. And so, I mean, from one perspective, I would say yes, they do match similar to what he's saying.
Okay. I'm just super paranoid over any NPC. All right. Well, Grask, let's get you some of that pork.
As you wish.
Now. There's none of this debt stuff.
Unless you guys stop him, Ickbon pretty quickly starts like making his way towards the cage in there. Obviously he's still moving at slow speed, but like once he sees it, his eyes kind of like open with the first bit of excitement you've seen on his face in a while, and he starts making his way for that giant rib cage.
I think we'll all, I mean, Hugo will go towards the cage as well.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Do you not intend to invoke a dead with me?
No, at least I don't. I can't speak for no one else. But Grask, man, look, you're strong, you're capable. We're gonna need your help to get further in there. So yeah, we came back to get you.
A duel then.
A duel? Like you want to fight me?
A duel, like a useful sword or a weapon.
Oh, yeah. I don't think you're a tool. I mean, but we'll need your help. And so far, you've been quite resilient. I mean, 2 nights and no sleep. I don't know if you were tortured or beat up or anything, but we're happy to have you back, man.
It wasn't so bad, honestly. They beat me around, but Ickbon made a lot of noise, so they mostly focused on him.
Well, that's good.
Yes, it is.
The dogs in the village seem to be making quite the racket over sniffing this chopped up wolf or bear eagle meat as you guys pass into the Cage Inn and Tavern.
Can we is there like a hitching post for a horse out there? Can we take the rope and just put it on the hitching post?
Like tie the meat up, just like bear?
Yeah, I mean, unless we want to drag it inside with us.
No, Grasp won't leave it outside if the dogs are interested in it. They're gonna take his meal.
Well, seeing that, then I might look at like Armony and Corin and Hugo and say, well, hey, how about y'all learn from Ickbon there, and Grask and we'll run this down to the tanner, see if we can get some coin for it.
Good idea.
All right.
Owen.
Don't get lost.
Halflings don't get lost, Hugo.
Except for that one time.
No, I just found somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. I wouldn't necessarily say I was lost.
Tell that to our new friend.
I'm gonna tip my hat to him and look at Grask and say, all right, let me show you who will buy that from you, and we'll eat the other part of it.
And he'll follow.
All right, so it sounds like you guys want to make your way over to the Furrier and Tanner.
Yeah, I don't think Grask is going to leave the meat willingly, so be smarter to just go ahead and get that done and over with, sell it while we can.
All right, so we will move the focus outside as some of the group remains in the Cage Inn and Tavern, and the rest of the group, being Grask and Elliot here, start making their way over to the Furrier and Tanner. It doesn't take you guys too long, though. Grask is moving at that reduced speed, so you can see him probably stopping every now and again to catch his breath, that sort of thing. but you make your way overland, across the village, through the wooden palisade, across the little bridge over the river here, all the way out to the Furrier and Tanner, and find yourself back where you were earlier today.
I'm gonna ring that bell.
While they're traveling, Grask will tell Elliot, I don't think Ekbon is a bad man, but I do think he talks too much.
Oh, it ain't like we're gonna ask him to join us and come with us. You know Armony, man. She saw him in that cell there, and she couldn't just leave him. I suspect by Corin's actions, he's probably the same.
I knew Harmony wouldn't leave her. That's why I threw her the crowbar.
Don't mean we have to go back with him, but hey, look, his loud mouth saved you from a few extra fists, so I guess you can be thankful.
What do we intend to do with him then? Shall we invoke a debt?
No, maybe try to gouge some coin and some information, and then let him go on his way. I can't imagine we'll need him for anything. I mean, if he was weak enough to get himself captured, what is he gonna do for us? You know what I mean?
Good point.
However, that's not in any way saying you're weak because you got captured. I mean, we were getting trailed by numerous... Okay, I'm gonna ring the bell here. Ding, ding, ding.
Alrighty, you ring the bell, and much like before, it takes a few moments before suddenly you can see the door is opened, and you see the familiar sight of the Tanner himself. And you see he looks at you and says, "Oh, you're already back!"
With fur and feathers. If you want to step outside, you can see what we brought back. It looks like some sort of, I think they said it was called an owl bear.
And you see he does he takes a big sniff and, "Oh, yeah, I can smell it. All right, let's take a look what you got here." And you see he steps out and you hear the bell kind of rings once more as the door is closed. Oh, this is in terrible state. I'm not going to be able to do much with this. You chopped it all to hell.
We get that. What about the head there? We didn't really hit the head too much.
What are you thinking? You want it like stuffed and embalmed so you can hang it somewhere, mount it?
I mean, you think we'll get a good bit of money if we do it like that? I mean, we really just want to sell it to make some money. We saved some good bits of it for some meat for ourselves, but we're kind of broke, like we said, so whatever we can do to get the most money from it.
Oh, man. Sometimes at the Cage Inn and Tavern, they would pay for something like this, but it really all depends. I could do it for you, but it would be a couple gold, because, I got to use some chemicals and time and plot. It takes time and effort, work, if they would, I don't know, maybe, do you want to ask them if they'd buy it first?
I'm gonna look at Grask.
Grask looks like beat to shit, right? He's got 3 levels of exhaustion. He's very injured. You want me to drag this back to the tavern?
Yeah, he's got a point. What if we did this? What if you said a few gold, what, like maybe 2 gold pieces to tan it or something like that?
Well, if you want to embalm stuff, ready for presentation, mounted, all that, basic package, I can get you out the door for like 3 gold.
Grask finally looks around the room. So these guys have like taxidermied animals all over?
Inside they do, but remember you're outside because you're looking at the dragged corpse at the moment.
Oh, you're right.
Well, what if we just sold it to you to then sell to somebody else? I mean, this is probably a rarer creature than you've seen before, right?
Yeah, but there's no guarantee I can sell it. You see, I can do this for you. If you want to give it to me for free, I'll do the work. And if I can sell it, then I will cover my costs and then split whatever I make beyond that.
There's a lot of meat here. It's got to be worth more than free.
I figure I can help your Grass. Let's take it back to the inn. They might need the meat, and we may get a little bit more for it. Not that we don't, think you're so. I mean, we came to you first, as you can see, right? But coin is the biggest issue right now.
Oh, no, I understand. You got to find your best deal for sure. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, look, like I said, next thing we get, we'll make sure it's a little bit more of a clean kill. How about that?
Yeah. If it's intact, then it's very, it's much easier to get it all off in full quantities and make it into something more valuable.
Alright, fair enough. Well, look, we ain't gonna bother you too much more. We're gonna go ahead and take this back to the inn. We got friends over there. We'll see what kind of money we can make. I hope you have a good evening. And if you need anything, like, if you're looking for a specific hide, or like you want a creature, specific kind of feathers or something, you let us know. Because like I said, we like our coin and we ain't got a problem doing the dirty work.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. If any word comes my way, that would make sense.
Alrighty. Well, look, have a good one now. And we're gonna get on out of here.
Okay, see ya.
I'm gonna take the rope from Grask and try to start pulling it, but Elliot's super weak, so.
Yeah, I'll start lugging with him.
All right, back in the Cage Inn and Tavern, as you guys have been walked in here and find yourself enjoying, I assume, the basic comforts inside. So for Hugo, Armini, and Corin, are you guys essentially just trying to get a seat at one of the tables here and maybe order some food, something like that?
Yeah, I think that's probably our intent.
Anything in particular anybody's doing during this time other than just trying to catch some R&R?
I mean, I'm trying to find Ickbon.
Yeah.
And
All right.
And sort of sit down where he's at.
So, okay, that's kind of what I was wondering, if you guys are keeping eyes on him, which it sounds like you're definitely doing. So, Hugo, you'll notice he enters and he kind of sits and fidgets and he kind of moves a little bit and gets up, fidgets again, and then you see he actually is walking to exit the Cage Inn and Tavern.
I'll rush over and stop him, grab him. Hey, where are you off to?
And you see he's kind of standing at a strange pose almost. You can see this look on his face that looks a little bit tense, and he says, "Oh man, I just gotta go to the privy."
Yeah. Well, why don't we sit down for a second first, and I'll order you a drink and stuff like that. Can I look and see if he's hiding something under his robe, trying to sneak it out?
His hands are kind of at his stomach, but not underneath his robe. So I would say you don't notice anything obvious based on your passive perception. But as you propose this, he says, it's kind of an emergency, guy. I gotta go to the privy.
Let's go together. Just two guys going to the privy together. Here we go.
He looks at you very strangely, but seems to be in too much of a hurry to argue. So, yeah, heads on out, and there's, privies out probably in the back side of the inn here. So makes his way around to the back, and yeah, think of it as sort of like outhouses. So he kind of opens one and closes a door, and you can hear the sound of this rope tied off, essentially indicating that it's closed. I assume you're not trying to stop him from any of that, right, Hugo?
No, he's just sort of waiting outside.
All right, you definitely hear some uncomfortable groaning from inside the privy as you're kind of standing by, close by. So back inside, Armini, Corin, during this time, is there anything specific you're doing?
I keep an eye on Hugo, so if that's going to require, stepping outside or sticking my head out the door or whatever.
So as Hugo follows out Ickbon, it sounds like Armini wants to follow him.
Yep, but just keeping him in sight, not hanging out next to him or anything.
Okay, so I'm imagining privy, and then about 20 feet away is Hugo, and then 20 feet away from that, leaning against the end building maybe, is Armini, who's just kind of keeping a scope on things.
Yep.
All right, Corin, you're remaining inside?
I feel like I want to say, well, I'm going to keep an eye on, but yeah, I think Corin is going to get a table, and he'll just kind of man that, waiting for everyone to get done with their business and come back. He'll be sipping an ale.
All right, excellent. So as you have an ale on your table and you're sort of sipping it, you notice as you take a drink and kind of set it down and then raise your head, there is a gentleman just standing there looking down at you. You're not even sure how he got there. You didn't see him approach. You didn't hear the sound of footsteps, anything like that. But you see he looks towards you with a smile on his face, very knowing smile, perhaps, as he eyes you very closely. And folks, that's where we're going to go ahead and end our session for tonight. So hope everybody had a good time with today's session. We got some action, got some RP in there. We will, of course, pick up next week, where I assume the plan is for you guys to make your way back into the Scarlet Citadel, yes?
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy
I think we're done with that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check out this mist.
We haven't learned our lessons.
What was the store we were going to open up that was missing here?
Grask's General Goodies.
Yeah.
Grask's meat.
All right. Fair enough, guys. Good session, everybody. It was a lot of fun. We'll see y'all next week as we continue the adventure back in the Scarlet Citadel.
Thanks,
See you
Adam.
guys.
Thanks, y'all. Have a good night.
Night,
Bye.
everyone.